it's murder. Go crazy, berserker. I killed it, 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 it's murder. I killed it, it's murder. Go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder. Go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder. Go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder.
Go crazy, berserker.
Hello everyone, I am Rook and I am joined by I'm Sup, by the way. We are bringing you Valanth Silver Gold League. Sorry, not Silver Gold League. I'm all mixed up. I made sure beforehand. The Gold Plat League, and we're here to bring you VVS versus CLT.
Thanks for everything. It's a little bit of a mix-up already. Literally checked if it was silver, gold, or gold, plat 2 seconds before we came in here.
I already managed to mess it up. I start as we mean to go on, yeah?
Gotta start off on a good foot, and guess we've already messed that up.
Indeed we have. So
it's gonna be...
Oh, sorry.
After you, it's fine.
No, so I was just going to say, we've got some really interesting teams definitely coming up today. So do you want to just kind of characterize them for me there?
I'm thinking that CLT is really playing for their bot lane. Like their top lane is looking to play just mainly tanks and just sort of. Wait, I think I may have mixed up the teams here. I have, yes. Already, boys.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, so switch everything I just said back to VVS. Playing, we're mainly looking for just getting through, getting that AD carry fed, playing for them. But it was something I wasn't really focused on. It was more I was looking for this mid lane. It's looking very interesting to me. What do you think?
So I think we've definitely got some really fantastic players. Coco with a huge pool. Key can definitely play some specific picks very well. So I'm interested to see how they're going to be able to do here. And playing around that, that's where I think most of the action, and it's going to be more even looking into this series.
I definitely agree. I can't seem to see any of the bans on the client.
Yeah, none of them are coming up for me as well. So what I might do is I try quit spectate and rejoin back in if that actually works. Just give us a 2 seconds.
Well, speaking of bans and stuff, we were thinking that like a Shen ban would be very impactful. Would be a very deciding factor. If the Shen wasn't banned, it would almost have to be first picked, just because Shen he's such a high priority champion for looking at both of these top laners. And how's it going on the bans there?
I'm not currently able to see them still, but yeah, no, that Shen being able to provide all that cross-map pressure, especially when we're talking about the bot lane earlier on, that's going to be really key if we don't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of gonna be. I believe if that Shen gets picked, it's gonna be a huge advantage for whichever team gets it. It would be really nice to be able to see this, obviously, but.
I'm trying to bring up the stream to see if I can find it on there. I'm not currently actually in the match.
We all know this is common with Riot being a small indie company. Oh, we see that Nautilus pick straight away. High priority support, maybe being flexed top lane. Unlikely though.
I'm surprised we actually saw that get through, because we were talking earlier about that pick and how key it is, especially I can't remember specifically which roster. I believe it's to Creon on VVS. It's actually really key. I'm surprised it got through the ban phase.
Yeah, you'd be correct there. He's played a lot of the champion, seems to know what he's doing. But we're talking about why it's so impactful. It's such an impactful pick because no matter at what stage of the game, if Nautilus falls behind, he doesn't even need those tank items to be able to go in. He can just drop an ult on someone, and then what are they gonna do? We do see the Leona in the counter pick though. I do feel like Leona has a very good position against Nautilus, just because she can just shut him down if need be.
That is actually something one of the few supports that Creon's actually been practicing a lot. I'm surprised to see them pit the CLT being the team who actually picks up the Nautilus, but obviously they've come into this with a ban strategy of actually picking it up. So here we see the Leona get picked, as you say, trying to counter
there's the Silas, as I was saying.
And then a Silas coming through. Wow.
Is that okay? Is this a troll? Is this man actually gonna pick Yasuo? I'm confused.
I mean, hey, you know what? Why not? I think it's possible. Definitely, we've seen some pretty spicy picks.
We do see the Jinx being picked up though.
Oh, okay. So what's so key about this Silas coming into this first game?
Silas, so far, it's with what the other team is, with what Vivid has chosen. I don't really see it as a huge impact. Because I only see the Leona and Rek'Sai ults. I know Leona and they're both very impactful ults, but there's so many better situations for a Silas to be picked up here.
Yeah, I think there's like a Sejuani being picked up.
I don't know if the Sej was banned. Yeah, because we still can't see those bans yet. Okay, we see an Ori ban.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay, so
wait,
you can see the bans.
didn't one of the teams lose first bans? Yeah, that
Oh,
was yeah.
that's why. So I just left the ban thing and can't rejoin for no good reason. All
Yeah.
right, that's fine.
Did that means both teams lose first bans, or because
Didn't know.
neither was
I
banning?
think
Yeah.
only one team lost first bans. Maybe they're giving them a bit of that respect.
Well,
I don't know.
seeing picks on both sides, we've definitely got very two late
I'm
game
surprised,
hype.
yeah, if that's true, then I am surprised we have not seen the Shen.
No, the Shen is. I'm also very confused. I think. Well,
We see that.
I'm very.
You were talking earlier, prior to the game, about Coco Zari and how much it needed to be banned.
Yeah, no. I was saying if he gets his Ari, it's going to be a very tough laning phase. For Key. But
I'm gonna go find that stat.
there's the
It's got a
Shen
hell
ban.
of
There
a
we
stat.
go.
Oh, okay.
There's
Finally
the
coming
Shen
through.
ban. Cool.
72% win rate over 32 games on this Ari for Coco.
Oh,
In sort
that's
of 3
a bit
KDA.
scary.
Yeah, pretty terrifying.
I'm just excited to see if we get what we get to see in return for it though.
Yeah.
Because there's the LeBlanc ban. Also another thing we were gonna say.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was exactly.
Coco's LeBlanc's played a lot of games. 54% win rate over only like 38 games, but still for a LeBlanc, it's not a bad thing at
No,
all.
it's over 68 games.
68.
Coco has 68 games and a 54% win rate on it, which is really impressive.
There we see the Urgot pick. Very, very important champion for any team to pick up, in my opinion.
Yeah, and British Blaze plays a decent amount of this as well, so this is not surprising to see.
Yeah. One thing that's really exciting me now is the spot lane. The spot lane matchup. Oh, we see a Scion in return for the Urgot. Interesting.
Yeah, that is actually one of the things we've got confirmed. This Leona Kaiser versus Jinx Nautilus, and this is double hard engaged support. But the big difference is there in the ADC. So I think Jinx is actually a lot better at following up off of this because you have the snap traps, etc. You don't quite have the damage potential that the Kaiser could have.
But the Kaiser does have her passive, which Leona can get early levels 2 stacks on. Once she gets 6, that's 3. There's so much burst damage potential there with the Kaiser passive, and I feel like that's gonna, if they execute it properly, they can turn that into a lead.
I was going to suggest that there was going to be this Echo coming through for Coco.
Yeah.
They have played a decent amount of it. They've not got as a fantastic win rate as they do on some of their other champs, but they still have a lot of games into it. And Echo into Akali seems like a pretty decent matchup for Coco here, as you can counteract that Shroud pretty well with the Echo.
Yeah, it's going to come down to who plays their team, like their champion better, obviously. But I feel like the Akali has the advantage until 6, in my opinion. Once Echo hits 6,
I think that's pretty true. I mean, Echo has such power.
Yeah, he has that reset button where if he does end up taking a bad fight, he can just ult and get out of there. Seems like we're gonna have a very interesting top lane. To me, just seems like if without jungle pressure, this is going to turn into a wet noodle fight, as most top lanes do. But I do think that this is going to come down to which jungler gets early pressure. It's going to be a very interesting game for us. Have you got anything else to add?
I'm just having a look at the comments and having a quick thing. I think the jungle pathing is going to be pretty relevant. I think Ilk actually has the better early game fights because he's got a bit more of that engage on the Rek'Sai. And I think setting up for the bot lane to try and utilize the Leona specifically in the Ignite to get properly on top of that Jinx is going to be potentially what decides, because there is going to almost certainly be a gank towards bot lane pre-6, and that gank, I think, will determine the game. I think depending on who that goes to, that'll be the real decider. The
only thing I don't like about the Sylas pick is his Sylas's jungle clears. He's not the healthiest after it. He will probably have to go back before his first gank. Whereas I feel like a Rek'Sai will be a lot healthier and be able to get that pressure off earlier. It's whether or not that the rest of the teams are aware of where the junglers are.
Yeah, I definitely think the Ilk should be able to take the early control here. And I did want to, alongside this mid lane, highlight these junglers. I think Shenjin, in terms of actual individual skill, could be one of the better junglers in the league. And I'm excited to see how they're going to play. But I think in this, I think the Rek'Sai is the better matchup early, and I think that's going to be the important one.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I also feel that the Rek'Sai has a lot more opportunity to get onto the Jinx late game.
Yeah.
Rek'Sai, that's definitely a lot easier for her, rather than Silas being Silas.
Yeah, I think Silas. So let's just have a quick look at that Silas and think about what kind of ults he's stealing. So he's stealing the Urgot. I think the key ones here are Echo and Rek'Sai. Really nice ways to like properly dive.
Yeah.
And I think he'd like be able to get out again, because otherwise Silas isn't the most tanky champion in the world, and I think it's really going to help.
Not. But I also do feel like the Urgot ult is a very big threat.
Okay,
if just so even if he's just ganking top lane, catching that Urgot, like as he's about to get away, just popping that ult and executing. It's like it's such a I'm struggling for words here. It's such a key thing that we have to look out for, because out of nowhere he could just someone could just get hit. Silas could even roam up top, steal the Urgot ult, roam down somewhere else, and then use it in a different lane. It's all about how he's going to choose to use these.
Yeah, and with Shenjin on that Silas, it's definitely going to be something to fear. It's all about execution, as you said earlier, and we were seeing some quite high execution comps with these double assassin mid lanes, with these relatively aggressive and relatively interesting junglers. Top lane's a little bit of a, as you said earlier, wet noodle fight. But we've definitely got some really interesting stuff, and seeing how Ottery on this Jinx as well is going to navigate the kind of minefield of the Echo, the Rek'Sai, and the Leona all trying to dive them.
No, exactly. Also, well, speaking of Leona, that's another good ult. That's another good ult for Silas to take. Catching Kai'Sa in that Leona ult there's a little to no chance that she's ever going to get out of that. As soon as she gets done by that, there's got Echo, Rek'Sai. I feel that Kai'Sa is going to have a really tough time surviving in the late game.
Indeed.
If she doesn't get ahead.
So we're going to be getting into the game in just a sec. I think we're loading in. I still need to actually get back into that spec, so just give me a sec on that regard. Sorry. Right. Do you mind accepting my friend request so I can try and join on you? Sorry.
Give me a second.
Sorry to say that on stream. I'm currently outside of the spec system.
I can't.
Yeah, so we're seeing. Oh, okay, all right, that's fine. So we are seeing in the chat that there's a lot of there is some kind of backup to my statement about Shenzhen. Bauer saying that they did play really well against them on Tuesday, and probably in a bit of a panic to that situation.
Okay, we got to pause straight away. Yeah, what's looking.
That might be why I can't join.
I just can't even like accept your friend request either. So
that's a bit weird. Okay, I'm gonna relaunch League. See if that works. Yeah, I'm interested to see. So the difference is the AD carry role as well. As I'm not sure how I feel about Luke versus
Ottery.
What's the name of the other one?
Ottery.
Ottery, yeah. Because there is a bit of difference in rank as well. That's the main part, because you got Plat 4 versus a Gold 1, which isn't huge. Because Ottery is like right on the cusp, but the differences were like really in win rates and where they've got a lot of their win percentages, because we see that Luke is actually a bit of a Sejuani abuser, playing a lot in the jungle, playing a lot of multi-role, where you have a look over at Ottery and all of their top 5 are ADC and only 2 of their top 10 aren't. So I think potentially the level of recent practice could be super relevant here.
We got a little bit of taunting between Shenzhen and ILK in the mid lane. Just a little bit of dance spamming. Just a little bit of fun before the game starts. I think Shenzhen could get a Q off there if he's sneaky enough.
Good skin
so
choice.
See the standard
really
5 point setup from everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. Bot lane. Blues bot lane will be moving down to help their Silas. Sion getting that Tribush warded. Very important. Looks like Luke and Chronican are just faking that leash. Pretty sure the other team knows that Rek'Sai's starting top with that ward there in the top Tribush. And now we start the laning phase.
Indeed, we do. Apologies quickly in advance. I'm unable to do the stream in real time because I left the spec page and can't get back in.
Oh. Damn it.
Yeah. So you might have to do the actual play-by-play stuff this match because that's gone a little bit wrong there.
Well, so far we see a little bit of fighting between the mid laners, just poke mostly. We see, no, it's early on in the game, but Akali already doubling. Key's doubling Coco's CS already.
Yeah, abusing that 5-point strike early on, as you mentioned earlier, is actually really
Coco
strong.
getting a nice trade on Key. Not really winning the health part, but proc to electrocute. Ooh, we got another big fight in mid lane here. Nah, just constant poke.
Coco really abusing that 3-hit passive to get a lot of
he is,
damage
definitely.
down.
Ooh, maybe overextending a little bit there, taking a tower shot. Unfortunate, taking 2 tower shots, okay. I don't know how I feel about that.
That was a big mistake. Oh, did actually manage to get the flash out key. So I'm pretty happy with that if I'm Coco here. Because you still have flash out next fight.
Take a look at the Silas here. This is what I was talking about, that low, really bad jungle clear. He's very low afterwards. See, he has to back now. He almost died to Grom. Where, see, Rek'Sai is still fairly healthy. Of course, she gets spot Wellesley there, but... ooh, Leona engaging onto the Nautilus. I don't think much is going to be happening over here. Ooh, ILK going in. Wait.
I'm trying to
just froze.
the
The spectate just froze for me.
Yeah, Ilk got really aggressive there, managed to get the first
okay,
kill
we got first blood there from Luke on the Kaiser. That's what I'm liking to see. I'm liking to see the
more than anything. I think the main problem there was Welly was just far too far forward. And Ilk was very on top of it. And we're talking about the bot lane as well.
Yeah, the quick rotation coming from the Leona straight away. Like as soon as Rek'Sai spotted, and then we see that mid lane fight as well. Sorry, just to... Ooh, okay, flashing onto the Akali, stuck in that trial. Let's see if she can actually make it out of this. I don't think that Akali will be making it out of this. Maybe she can turn it.
Could actually win that fight. I see Akali winning that fight, maybe.
I see Key winning this.
Oh, that was really close. I mean, the knockup was definitely it. But we'll be traded.
There we see the flash from the Shenzhen. And there we go. Return kill for Shenzhen.
Indeed. Well played, honestly, on all parts.
See that mid lane fight there. Akali obviously comes on the upper hand there. Just already also has a CS lead onto Coco. Like it's Coco's trying to mess with Silas here, taking this Krug. I mean the Raptors. Successful in doing so. See Blaze already having to use his TP.
Yeah, but we'll actually
I think Blaze gets a solo kill here on...
Yeah, he doesn't manage to get that kill back. That's actually pretty nice. It's not too bad.
I don't know if the flash was necessary though, and I think he might die for that. Yeah, he dies for flashing.
That is a huge mistake, honestly, from British Blaze.
That flash was completely unnecessary, but I guess in the heat of the moment. So already we're 5 minutes of the game and there are already 7 kills.
Maybe I was right earlier about saying got silver gold.
Okay, we're a little bit too toxic there, buddy.
We're good.
I'm seeing... See, here we go with this Nautilus roaming a little bit... Like, obviously the jungler isn't there, but I don't really see a point of him being there right now. Surely you should know that Rek'Sai will be clearing a top side right now.
Yeah, and Beak Urshin is just completely... Like, really shouldn't be down here. You're not going to get too much off of it. Maybe you catch the owner out here, but they kind of just back off.
With the engager, maybe.
No, you just dodge that. Creon King should be up to... Oh, no.
He hasn't got his flash, so yeah, I think he actually just dies here.
Yeah. I think he went a little bit too far forward, didn't respect the fact that there was missing Sion, and they had no idea where the enemy jungler was. That was just
all in all, that was all in all, I think I like that play a lot. We see some fighting here in the mid lane. Key just chunking Coco. Ooh, Shenzhen coming in for the gank. I think this might be the end of Coco here. Yeah, there
Yeah,
we
they
go.
just managed about managed to get him before that stun came through. It's
Yeah,
good.
just. Ooh, Luke desperately trying to defend this tower from this. Without his support, he hasn't got much pressure at all. We see maybe a possible jungle fight here with Shenzhen and ILK. Leona is close though, so she can turn the tide of this. Oh, okay, Kia's arrived for some backup.
We have seen a lot of grouping. I've been really impressed with the speed at which
The
people are
rotations
crossing.
have been nice, yeah. Top lane seems to be pretty stale at the moment.
Yeah, keep getting chucked out early, but managing to still pick up a lot of these kills due to that early mistake from Coco, even though they had the summoner advantage, actually didn't get anything out, and is only just now hit.
No, that's just like it's just mainly in my opinion, the only reason the Akali is winning this lane is because the mistakes this Echo has made so far have just been ones that you really shouldn't make. Just even going back to those first 2 tower shots right at the beginning of it, like I think that was level 3, no level 2 actually. That was it was just something completely unnecessary, and it just didn't need to happen. But we do see now that Coco, I mean the Key has a level lead on Coco. Might not be too significant right now, but we all know those stack up after a while.
Indeed.
We see British Blaze winning, really chunking this Urgot out. I mean, the Sion on a lot.
And if he hadn't missed his ultimate, he probably would have gotten the kill down for
Sion, only roundabout. It's just, hey, sometimes we all miss skill shots, you know?
Yeah. But you really need to hit those. You want to try and get ahead in this lane. I think looking towards the late game, Sion brings more utility as a main tank to the team, and they are definitely the main tanks. As loath as I am to call Sion, to call Urgot that, he is going to be the most tanky member of that team.
At his core, Sion is a tank. I mean, Urgot is a tank, even though we might not like to agree on that, but sadly that is what he is. If we just take a look at like CS leads at the moment, well, about maybe 30 seconds ago, Akali had like a 10 CS lead on the Echo, but he seemed to catch up now and shove that wave in under tower. Maybe no, she sadly won't be denying the Akali the cannon. But
Vivid so far, overextension has been the name of the game. They keep on getting caught out for pushing that little bit too far forward, and it's led to them being 4 kills down and being about 1.7k down.
Yeah. I'm definitely, like, this one thing I'm really surprised about is how passive this bot lane has been against each other, except for that one engaged by Leona, which got her killed. It's very interesting to see how I would have expected this Nautilus to go look for more hooks, look for that engage. But I guess with the Leona on the other side, it's not really something he's looking to do.
If he goes in and isn't properly ready for it, can easily get stunned up, focused down by Kiddle and Creon King. So definitely needs to be careful.
Yeah, definitely. But I do see this. Oh, someone's making a little move here. Bot lane's roaming up. They've seen the Rek'Sai on the river ward. Coco's coming down. Okay, now they're backing off.
Jungler's not been actually super relevant in terms of ganks. They've been getting a lot of kills in their own jungle. Sorry, been setting up a couple of kills in their own jungles, but not doing too much in terms of actually influencing their lane.
Here's our first Drake of the game. Looks like VVS should be able to pick this up with no hassles. Yeah, unless Jinx manages to steal that with the ult. We never know.
Really unlikely. Doesn't actually.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that was close.
Speaking of close, Coco looking for an opportunity.
Coco making a small error here. Okay, Silas. Keep watching. Silas still has that Urgot ult.
We'll see the team fight. There is the chrono break. We're going to see Ilk attempt to go for key here, but Wellesley on a good rotate here will secure.
Nah. Sadly, that doesn't go in VVS's favor. No, yeah. Sorry, I actually had to look away from my screen for a second. I didn't see if that Urgot ult was impactful at all. I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
No, it didn't do all too much. Didn't actually give them a kill. It was more the Wellesley had rotated up properly.
That's That's okay. At least he's had one good rotate this game.
Yeah.
Oh, Shenzhen would only just check these pixel brushes for wards. There's so much vision set up for VVS, and it's odd to see that they can't capitalize off a lot of this. Like bot river's almost completely rewarded out for them.
Yeah, they've been really on top of their vision game, but they haven't actually reaped the rewards. They've kind of failed to actually utilize the vision correctly.
No, exactly.
Like, you can set as much vision as you want, but you need to actually look and keep track of your opponents to get the good use.
It's gonna be a rough game for VVS. I think they're almost, well, they were almost like 3k goal behind right now. It's like we're 2.8 or something.
Yeah, no, it's basically 3 right now. And
yeah,
the Egochin is probably going down, but might be able to trade it back over. Yeah, no, he's looking to get
going down in top lane. And is British Blaze gonna die again to that Scion?
That would be really sad.
Sadly. Luckily not. We don't have to live through that embarrassment again. But that was a really nice gank from ILK, shutting that Scion down, giving the Urgot some time to get some plates. We do see a key roaming down. VVS Silas stealing the Leona ult. Possibly might be going to mid lane with that. If he doesn't try and do something to Leona here. We see the Urgot TP coming out, Scion TP coming out behind the Urgot, which is, Urgot's in a really bad spot right now.
Yeah, again, we're looking at this, and overextension is the name of
out of position.
And they just get too well pushed up.
Is Coco paying attention to his screen, or?
Unfortunately, it will be Big Ocean.
Okay, Key. Let's see what Key can do here.
Tankiness.
I feel like
to get something out there. He might be able to get the wrap it up though, as they do manage to secure 2-4-1. That's a fantastic play from Shen.
Although it didn't go too badly there for CLT, I do feel that Key popped his shot a little bit too early. We'll see. Oh, flash from Shenzhen. Unluckily dodged by ILK. Just got a little bit of spam pings from his team, as you do. Yeah, I was going back to that fight there. I do feel that the Akali popped her shroud way too early. She popped a shroud and then dove onto I think it was onto the Urgot and the Echo. I just feel if she'd kept that, maybe she would have survived and maybe picked up a few kills herself.
Indeed. Definitely needs to respect as well the damage that's going to come out onto her, because they were focusing down the Scion and then realized that they really couldn't do enough to him. Focus fired onto that Akali, and she just got completely
obliterated. I'm not gonna lie, it's definitely been a very action-packed game. 15 kills in 14 minutes. Like, this actually might be silver gold. Going back to that.
Not many, as pointed out in the chat, I was actually about to say, and look at it, not many plates taken as well, because they're getting a lot of these kills, but they're not capitalizing anything off of it. You really need to come together and properly deal with that. Coco looking for an opportunity here, but the rest of the team just not able to actually get their engage onto Key, because that Akali, very elite.
No, Akali is a very slippery champion, and but with that, if you land that CC, there's a very high chance that you will kill her, because she's such a squishy champion.
Generally tries to kill over time. Big Ocean just
big fight in top lane.
Attempting to make a way.
I do feel like Scion loses this, definitely. Yeah. We see Big going down once again. He was 3-1 at one point, and now I don't know if he just keeps fighting. I need to start looking at this top lane a lot sooner.
He cannot win this fight in the top lane anymore, I'd argue, because doesn't have a full item, has to deal with that Black Cleaver.
He's got the Thormail, which is nice, but it's not gonna do much.
Yeah, I get the idea behind it, but again, because they don't have a complete item, British Blaze can just abuse that and use the power.
I said Thormail, I meant Bramble there, sorry.
Yeah.
But looking at the Sion's build, there's so many different items. Like he's got
that
4 parts.
Dead Silas.
Let's see, just collapsing like that. Now we see out of VVS, they're rotating together, and that gold leads, it's gone. They're back in this game.
Indeed. Again, another attempted steal by
a little bit too early.
Yeah, it was optimistic at best.
One thing I'm liking is ILK's dragon priority. Like that, I think that dragon was maybe up for a minute and 10 seconds, not even, and they were on it. They were ready to take it.
I mean, yeah, they need to secure something in this game because they got that tower in the top lane. They actually have caught up in gold now. This is looking quite good for them. We look towards the late game. I'd put it relatively. I don't know because I feel like it's gonna be hard to do that late game.
Yeah, like. Also, wait, big point here. Look at all the vision that VVS has in ILK's bot lane. I mean, in their jungle, like in their bot jungle. They know exactly where Shenzhen is, and that's such a key factor because now bot lane can play a little bit less, like they can play a bit back, try and limit the possibilities of Sylas doing anything to them. And I guess now we just wait for some.
I've been really impressed with VVS. They're playing pretty solid, like kind of properly competitive League of Legends where you're playing around vision properly, you're properly working as a team. It's just been in the individual fights, they've been a little bit lacking. Coco hasn't been as impressive as I had previously thought they were going to be. Another fight.
We got another fight in the top lane.
It's
Sion
probably not
trying. Half HP, that's not going to make anything out of it. I want to see if any of them are going to actually take this Rift Herald with the little time that it has left. But we also see that
it just drops.
No, it's fine. We also see now that ILK, no, CLT has they've tried to take over some vision again. They got the vision on the Rift Herald. They've got a lot of vision in the some vision in the bottom jungle off VVS. But I feel like there could be more. If you know what I mean? Yeah. They're not using their vision to its max. Here we go, trying to make a play onto the Akali. Ooh, Wellesley grabbing the Echo. He's still got the Chrono Break, needs to be careful.
Yes. Shenjin managed to take down British Blaze, but the fight in the mid lane, as you said,
Chrono goes
isn't
down.
quite going to be... Wellesley will go down, but it is a trade across the map because of Big and the gang taking down British Blaze. And it's 2 for 1, in fact, because they took down Creon King.
That fight in mid lane was a bit questionable at points, and I do not agree with what Coco is doing here. It's a very questionable dive.
Yeah, I mean, Key also getting a bit aggressive there needs to be careful because Key Dolts can get aggressively onto him, and I think we'll actually see Key go down here. Yeah, that was a big mistake. Did not have the health bar to actually stand up.
missing the E. I do feel like he could have. I mean, Shannon could have converted that into a kill if he hit that E.
Yeah, it's bad hitting those skill shots and getting the land up.
And here we go. I was talking about that Rift Herald. They're going for, looks like it's just ILK going for it now. I know they're going to back off because they've been spotted.
Trying to set up now for these objectives is actually going to be pretty key, especially with the vision that we've seen from VVS. I think they're setting themselves up relatively well. They're ahead in gold. They've got those objectives, and that's been the key part. They've been taking a kill and then going forward with it to actually get something out of it, because it's not.
Yeah,
that's what League of Legends is at this point.
They're converting things out of their vision. They're seeing where they need to be. I'm wondering if anyone's going to answer this mid lane, if we might see a big fight here.
Yeah, you need to be careful.
Coming
Wellesley again is really far forward, probably going to go down here, and does use that flash and just about makes it out. But you need to be really careful. Like, he can't be so far up. He's died 2 times basically for free. So.
CLT has no vision on the spot, especially where this Urgot is. If they try to attempt a fight here, this can go really badly for them because of this Urgot.
Yeah, they do manage to get that hook onto the primary target, but they lose their support instantly.
Luke somehow clinging to life. Key goes down.
We'll see Atari just about get out of here. Ilk.
Artery might get out of there. Yeah. See that Rek'Sai getting shut down by the Sylas. Luke is very lucky to have escaped with his life in that fight. Akali dove straight onto him, and I didn't see what went wrong there.
Yeah, he was trying to go in aggressively and just couldn't make it on top of the AD carry properly. Kidult managed like really well back out there, and the peel from the rest of the team was what managed to just about keep him alive.
Phenomenal. And I see how VVS was like 3k gold behind earlier, and now they've got the gold lead. They're in charge now. Now we just need to see how CLT reacts to this.
Yeah, again, CLT finally picking up their first actual objective. They have taken 0 towers so far, 21 minutes in, even though they are up. They've got a lot of standing though.
I think going back to they were getting kills in the early game, but they weren't capitalizing off it. They weren't doing anything off of it. They were kind of just getting the kill and then resetting. They weren't really pushing for that tower, pushing for control over that next Drake, and I feel like that's been their downfall though this game thus far. Although all around CS is looking pretty even. Obviously Luke has a big gold league now with that extra kill and 2 more assists. The only big leads we see is the Ogre having a lead over the Scion and the Silas having a lead over the Rek'Sai, which I find is pretty interesting considering Silas is jungle clear. Do we see Shenson being out of position here? I think that might have been a bit ambitious from ILK there. Ooh, and Shenson goes down.
Does go down finally.
Sadly does not get out there. See, there's that Nautilus ult. Key getting a bit ambitious. Oh, wait, Key getting a little bit way too ambitious there. Trying to dive under a tower like that. And then we just get Blaze coming in for the cleanup.
That was almost like, again, the execution from both of these teams is very close to being fantastic. And getting like kills out of somewhere you wouldn't expect initially.
We're seeing a Baron
but in the end, they're just about failing. And VVS have been taking better advantage of the single kills that they do get, and then from there converting into more. And here we see them taking the Baron, and this has been what the entire game's really been about.
Then it goes back again to converting leads, like converting leads from your kills, and like one good fight turned into a Baron, and now CLT is kind of just flopping on the ground like fish. That fight was really messy, and I feel like it could have been done a lot better.
I mean, it's just been CLT unable to actually take fights in the way they want to, because they try and make an engage, and then it turns out they've overextended, and it all kind of falls apart from there. Shinjin needs to be a bit careful, as there is a lot
Luke not seeing that the red buff is still alive. And that was a bit... I feel like this game is starting to... what's the right word? It's like close out a little bit. We see... Right now, I'll describe it like VVS has their hands on CLT's neck, and it just needs that last a little bit.
It's interesting you say that, because actually the gold hasn't changed a huge amount. They've gotten a bit up, but because CLT have picked up these tier 1 towers across the map, the gold deficit isn't too bad yet.
That's true. But I do feel if VVS uses this Baron correctly, they can definitely accrue quite a big gold lead. And it's just a matter of see now they're just 5-manning it down mid. What is CLT's reaction to this? We need to see what that is.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to actually deal with it though.
I'll tell you, I don't know if I agree with the Scion pushing the bot lane here. Like, should pressure, but sorry.
Yeah, maybe if it was a little bit more pushed up, but I think it's a bit unnecessary. You just go mid with this Baron buff, and you just brute force food here. Because they don't have a tank, they can't have anyone just frontline and just wall into... Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong side. I'm being silly, but I think it's actually not too bad here. They lost a member, but they haven't... They are finally probably going to lose this mid tower, but at least they trade something. They trade a tier 2 for a tier 2. I think B can actually make it out of here.
One thing that VVS is having a problem with now is actually pushing onto the tower, and that's because of this Jinx. This Jinx with Rune on her wave clear is insane, but ooh, out of position there, she will go down. Coco doesn't have chrono break, so he
actually makes it out of
really
there. That's absolutely
flash.
Crazy. And this fight isn't exactly what you wanted down though.
Ooh, pause. Lag. Okay.
Right,
so that's what we all that's what we all like to say when we make a little bit of a mistake. I don't know if Key is being serious here or...
Dude, I didn't flash forward. That was just a lag that happened, you know.
What do you mean? What do you mean I flashed under a tower? No, the lag.
No. I flashed perfectly at the border between the tower attack range. Like I knew what I was doing. No. So far, actually, both teams have been very. They've the thing I've been really impressed with is that they have tried to push what they're doing to the limits. They're not satisfied with doing something that's kind of mediocre. They're making a lot of interesting and flashy plays. As much as it's been a bit of a scrappy game, it's been an interesting and fun game, especially with Vivid Visions really taking control by using their good capitalization.
Speaking about taking control, that was a really nice pick there by Coco, and then the fact that he got out afterwards, not even without having the chrono break, just managed to flash out of it. I'm really impressed by that. But that's also
they didn't actually get the mid tower off of that. That was the main objective of it.
But I do feel that that was a big mistake by Archery there. Definitely shouldn't have stepped up. Got a bit overconfident, not knowing where everyone is, and that again goes to the vision control. If Key might get rid of this control ward here, yeah, unless they collapse on him. No, he's gonna get out again. Akali being a super slippery champion. We do see this Echo trying to push this mid tower now, though.
Yeah, and I think they need to kind of turn on to that. I think with Luke on this Kai'Sa, you can easily get aggressive and push onto her. They decide they're going to take it, both the mid tower, and go straight for this dragon. I think it probably would have been better to go for this mid because no one's rotated there yet. You could have potentially taken this tier 3, sorry.
Exactly, but I do feel that VVS does need to eventually get this bot tier 1. They're just letting.
They haven't taken it yet, honestly. It's strange.
No, so am I. That's why I'm confused. But here we see Shenzhen going down again, getting caught out. And then we go back to the overextending. Their entire team's been doing it the entire game. And big engage by the Scion. Coco diving the back line. I don't know about this one.
Yeah, Coco
has got the chrono break to get out if need be.
Didn't actually get much damage down at all, in fact, did Coco. So a little bit disappointing there from him. They take down Ultra
got ult taking the Scion out, but Scion rushing the backline here.
Careful does get destroyed by British Blades here.
I do feel this is going to be the end of the game here.
Yeah, and even on low health, we've seen that VVS are juggling the rest of CLT very deftly.
I don't know if that was the correct ult for Shenzhen to steal there. The Rek'Sai ult not really that impactful in a 1v5 situation, but he will go down, and that'll be the end of game 1. VVS is victorious.
No, this is the best of 1, unfortunately. We only have best of 1s here in the Gold Flat League, so that is going to be VVS. Presumably, I'm still waiting for it to happen on my screen. Are going to be winning the game here. And quite dominant, even though they didn't have the early pressure, they didn't win early game, in quite a dominating fashion. They really took control of this game.
I do. They had a bit of a rough start, but ended up pulling it back and ending the game with a 7k gold lead. And I think they were able to push those towers down very easily because that early dragon control from ILK, I think, yes. All around a beautiful game from VVS, in my opinion. Have you got anything else to say?
I mean, other than the fact that VVS have been completely on top of their macro game, and just taking objectives straight off something, which is the key part of playing League of Legends at this level. I think that's what really put them a cut above the opposing team against CL.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, so thank you very much for watching. We will be back for the second game in just a tick. We're going to wait for teams to get ready for that, and then we'll be right back.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
I can't regret
Never reminded, never taking whatever you told me. I know what I could be. Making emotion paintable and so tell me, is this what you made me?
Just enough to make you smile, and you need me to hold you close, and all your fears that you dream of will disappear and flutter on. and I'll look down, and all your fears around the ground. Then you said, all I ever wanted was to love like this. All I ever needed was to feel like something more than a closed door flat on the floor. I can offer so much more. All I ever wanted was to feel at ease. All I ever needed was to get up off my feet. 'Cause I believe in love. Hold on just a little. We'll meet right here in the middle ground is where we'll stand. Let go of the brittle, 'cause you'll find life is a riddle that we're not meant to understand. Understand.
got me reaching out. And do you see you got me falling in more times than I can get out. Down in the deep of my mind, I crawl for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, how long do I got to keep you, to keep you? Down in the deep of my mind, I crawl for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, trying so hard not to keep you, to keep you. How long do I got to keep you, to keep you? Trying so hard not to keep you, to keep you. Do you remember how you held me then? Now you got me reaching out. Yeah. And do you see you got me falling in more times than I can get out. Down in the deep of my mind, I crawl for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, how long do I got to keep you, to keep you? Down in the deep of my mind, I crawl for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, trying so hard not to keep you, to keep you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Valanth League, the gold plat. This time, I got it right. I've sorted it this time. This time I'll also be in the game. I'm Rook, and I'm joined by Sup, by the way, and we have WSL versus Ike for you, and it's going to be one hell of a top lane matchup, isn't it, Sup?
No, I'm very, very excited to see this because we both top laners are very more doper students, more carry style top laners, but Silverback's a very flexible player. We've seen him be put on tanks, we've seen him be put on carries, and he does his job either way.
Yeah, so hopefully we're going to see a very aggressive lineup in the top lane. As we see a Teemo get banned away by Silverback here.
Wait, didn't?
Yeah, I don't think that's
WSL, are these just troll bans? Because
presumably. I mean, Teemo's pretty irrelevant in the current competitive meta, right?
I don't know. Teemo was picked in Silver Gold and beat Jonjo, so...
I mean, yeah, but that's Jonjo, you know? I love you,
Fair
Jonjo.
enough. We do see the Leona and Pyke bans, like, straight away. Seem to be heavily targeting this
I mean...
bot lane.
Yeah. Makes sense, honestly. I think Oscara is better at playing Enchanter supports than Mr. Brunch is, and generally has a wider pool, whereas Mr. Brunch is more towards those pretty aggressive.
We also do see Yuki's Ari just being banned out straight away. That's very good champion. One of, if not his best champions, according to his stats.
Yeah.
Here we see what do you think the priority picks are going to be this game?
I see there's a lot of Jacks all over the place, but I was going to say with the Nautilus would be the pick. Yeah.
I'd like to see what they pick. I'd like to see what they are going to pick to counteract
nice
this because the Leona's already been banned.
Yeah, Leona's been banned away, and Mr. Bramsh has had now 3 of their picks taken away from them by these bans and then a subsequent pick, and it's pretty brutal, honestly.
Okay, he picked the
Rakan. That is what I'd expect.
Oh, okay, we get a Zyra.
Go for the Zyra. That I actually really like that.
I like the Zyra. The Rakan is a bit sketchy going into the Nautilus because of if Rakan goes in, Nautilus just hooks him. I guess he's got the E for the escape, but
he can get out.
It's still a bit shaky. But I do like the
safety of the levels you die if you go in because you just get as soon as Nautilus has both his Q and obviously his passive at level 1.
We get the Kai'Sa and the Akali picked up as well. Sorry.
We have seen a bit of Kai'Sa. We saw Kai'Sa in game 1 of today.
We also saw Akali in game 1 on the other team.
Yeah. I'm excited to see more Akali. Always interesting. Has a lot of ways to play around it.
It's hit or miss, and it's good to see. It's nice to see when
that makes it interesting games.
But it actually pulls it off.
The LeBlanc, it's something we didn't notice about, but it makes it all the way through the ban. Picked up by Ducci here. Yeah, has played a decent. There was actually LeBlanc for both of these mid laners, but I do think it is better on Yuchi here. So I'm excited to see how it's going to go.
Yeah, I'm still very interested to see, like, now that Mr. Bramsh has had a few of his picks banned out, like, how comfortable is he on this Rakan? Is he gonna be able to pull it off? There we get Silverback's Gangplank banned out. Try to get rid of that from him. Could be a Nivea banned out.
Interesting. I'm not quite sure where the bans are going to go from here. I think it'll be towards some of the jungle is what comes to mind. Because they haven't picked up jungler yet. It's got to be the jungle.
There's the Jack's gone.
Top. Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense because both a Mental God and Silverback can play it here. So you're taking away from 2.
Yeah, heavy focus on Silverback in the second ban phase coming out of Ike, and I think that shows that they're really just trying to make sure that he's not a threat this game.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to secure counter pick for their top laner though, which is interesting. So if this isn't the top lane pick, it's going to be the jungle pick with a Hecarim. Not something I saw coming because there is actually still a decent amount of stuff open, which I did expect. Like we were talking about the Kha'Zix, which is very strong right now.
Yeah, no, the Kha'Zix. That if teams are paying attention, Kha'Zix is really strong at the moment, and it's like a sort of thing that not a lot of people are seeing. We see a Bard getting picked up. I doubt, and then if the Bard gets picked up, is that a Nautilus top?
No,
there we go. There we get the Warwick. Okay.
So again, weird junglers to see come out, especially because a lot of the oft-played champions in their pool are. We still see for Lord Impress, there's still a Silas open, there's still Lee open, plays a lot of those. Udyr, as much as I don't think it's particularly fantastic.
We even see the Jarvan being played by him a little bit, but I'm very confused by the Warwick pick.
This Aatrox pick, however, makes a lot of sense for Dux.
It does, definitely. He's such a good champion all around. He's so hard to kill in team fights if he's playing it right.
Yeah, and also it's a pick away from Silverback, who's also played a lot of this Aatrox.
Yeah,
so again, they're doing a lot of these kind of counter picks, not in the same way of countering lanes, but picking other players' champions.
We see a possible Camille coming out of Silverback as a counter to the Aatrox.
Same.
We see
and
Kled. That's what I expected there. Kled with his recently got his Q changed, with grievous wounds on his Q. Really good matchup for the Kled. Just into the Aatrox, it kind of just shuts him down, not reducing that healing, which is a major factor.
Yeah, I feel kind of sorry for Cold Billy here on this Kaiser, because pretty much everyone on that team is gunning for them.
Oh, no.
They haven't really got much in the way of of defense, because the Nautilus
is going to be having to work overtime, keeping a Hecarim off the Kaiser. This is going to be a interesting one, definitely. I'm also very excited with this bot lane. Zyra Khan, relatively safe bot lane with also really high kill potential. Just because of the Kaiser's W, just dealing so much damage in such a short space of time.
Yeah, if Rakan overextends, that could be one dead flirtatious bot. It really needs.
Yeah, definitely. And then what would Zyra do without a lover then? Pretty useless.
I mean, honestly, if she doesn't have
before
ultimate up, you can easily move from there. If you have jungle support, onto the Zyra and just take her out. The issue is if it's just the Nautilus and the Kaiser, you do lack for cooldowns on the Nautilus, moving on from that fight. And by that time, presumably Zyra is out of auto attack range from the Nautilus.
Then also regarding that Warwick pick actually starts to make a lot more sense then, because with the Nautilus cooldowns being down, they've got some more lockdown with that Warwick. Of course, either gonna have to wait till 6, or if he can get a really good E off, but I guess it's gonna have to come down to how he plays it. Yeah, I've seen him play a few of his Warwick games in his match history, but it's like there's so many champions he's played so much more that he could have picked, and I'm still confused by that Warwick pick.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange to see. I mean, it does have a pretty healthy clear, so I think maybe that's what they're looking for. Put that pressure out in the early game, really take control. If you can, you get winning lanes, abuse the Aatrox in this top lane, try and get that head against a Kled, utilize the Nautilus. You've got lanes where there are avenues to win. I think the Akali LeBlanc one is going to be, for an assassin lane, pretty quiet. As long as one team plays this right. If you don't use that shroud correctly, LeBlanc can easily pop the Akali, because, as we said prior in the other game, doesn't have a lot of health and resistances, so it needs to be careful.
Yeah, Akali all around is just a very squishy champion. Most of what makes her tanky late game is just her healing she gets from that gunblade, and it just makes her annoying to kill with that. And it goes back to what you said, that shroud placement we saw in the previous game. That Key made a few mistakes with his shroud placement, and let's hope we can see Wanty make a few better decisions when it comes to his shroud.
Indeed it is. So
this weight is killing me, man.
Yeah, the thing I want to talk about as well is Kled Hecarim can really speed it up and get that engaged right on top.
I didn't even think about that.
Very careful. We're talking the other game, last game, about being out of position. You cannot be out of position if you're on the blue side here for Ike.
No, Kled Hecarim it's super easy collapse, and with the Rakan, even the Kled speeding up the Rakan for that engage it's scary. Rakan's engage by itself is already a threat.
It's just absolutely fast as heck.
And making it faster, that's gonna be. They're gonna Ike is definitely gonna have to watch out here just for those quick engages. That, as you said, positioning is gonna be extremely important. And if they screw up, we might see a game like last game where one team gets the lead and just rolls with it.
Yeah. Beautiful skin from Impress. It's got the Grey Warwick skin. It's been a long time since I've actually seen it.
It's a bit of a shame how Riot implemented it. After when they changed how you got it, but it's still a great skin. But I still do see my favorite skin in the game on that Hecarim. Just loading in the game.
Yeah, finally loading. Yeah, that's good.
There we go.
And straight into a pause. Cold hands.
Harshy feels bad, man.
Should be getting back in just a sec. Everyone's said R in chat, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So I think the thing to keep around, other than this top lane, where I think there's going to be a lot of action, are these junglers, because they're both looking to try and make an impact early on where they can, and you need to be very careful about being aggressive in lane with both of these up, because
Yeah, you get caught up so
constantly
easy with the Warwick and the Hecarim. But I do feel that Warwick has the better early pressure because Hecarim, similar to the size in the last game, Hecarim's clear. It's okay, but he does get a little bit low.
Yeah, it needs to be careful. Often has to back.
We see a 5-man move from Ike here. I don't know if they're gonna go try for the invade.
I think it's worth trying. Why not? You give no information over to the opposing side. Though I think they're not going to be able to get it. They're not quite in good enough a spot.
Thing is, will they commit to this properly? Or...
Yeah, vision goes down. They're going to get that
yeah,
ward.
vision goes down.
10 gold.
They get the ward. They get the 10 gold on the Kai'Sa. One game, in my opinion. The game is over. Kai'Sa now wins.
Yeah. I'm surprised they aren't going for that blue buff, actually. They have 5 players.
See,
obviously, Oscar doesn't want to be... Sorry, a Dope Student doesn't want to be here, but...
Yeah. I'm thinking the Warwick... The reason they don't go for the blue buff, that Warwick really wants that red buff for those early ganks. That slow is...
Yeah.
It's like an ankle breaker early.
Yeah, and it does allow you to track Mental God on the Hecarim. Though you kind of know he's going to be on this blue buff to start anyway. That
ward is really important, the one that Ike placed down. Now we know where the Hecarim is starting. So hopefully I can use it to track him as he goes on.
The vision will go down on the opposing side as well, so they are aware of where Lord Impress is going to be. So they do have that idea earlier.
It's really key, knowing where the jungler is, knowing when you have to play safe.
Yeah, that's red buff Krugs. This is looking for potentially a level 2 gank onto bot lane here. Though, early push from Ike. This is surprising.
Interesting.
Actually, that being said, Dregger is pushing towards that blue side. And an early engage from Mr. Branch, getting very aggressive here onto Cold Billy. Having to see a flash and a heal. The auto from Mr. Branch almost did it, but isn't quite.
Will we see Cold Billy go down? I do not think so. He's still got that. There's the heal, and
you might want to
come back
zoom
here.
up to.
Branch getting a little bit aggressive, taking a lot of minion damage. Cold Billy has to back here. That is key here.
You might want to zoom up to current time because that was about 10 seconds.
I
was talking about it.
My thing just frozen. Okay, they're back at the current. There we go. Sorry about that, boys.
That's fine. So good. Aggressive trades here from both sides isn't quite going to take that tower shot. Quite important to not take tower shots in the early game, don't you think?
Yeah, I do think, and I think we also saw a very good example of that early game. Sorry, in the last game, with Coco's Echo taking a few tower shots early. Kind of forced him a little bit back, but...
Yeah, that's looking to potentially be tower plating on the next...
Oh, we see the Warwick catching up to the Hecarim here. See what I was talking about, Hecarim's junk clear. A little bit low. Seems to be fine here, though.
Press does get the information. It does have lane priority because 1-2 is hard pushing up this mid lane. And actually taking a decent bit of damage for it. It's actually trading back quite well. Yuchi is not abusing that range into melee matchup as they should.
No, not at all.
Needs to be a little bit more aggressive here. It's up in levels, but again, very difficult to actually take advantage. But we see the junglers fight again.
Warwick didn't get anything there. I don't even think he got one of the little Krugs. That's a little bit unfortunate for him.
The press is going to back off through the lane. 1-2 getting aggressive here onto Yuchi. Lord Impress isn't paying attention, just finally realizes, and here he is.
Ooh,
they're going to turn onto this Hecarim, dashes in. This is a big mistake from Mental God, honestly. 1-2 will get that first, but is going to get traded back. But Lord Impress, a good rotate up from Mr. Branch is going to force them away, as they were looking for that possibility to kill. That is almost a second auto attack would have done it. Almost a kill on that mid lane with a good rotate. Flash, that could be dead. That is a dead Zaya.
No, I do not think so.
They didn't get that. I honestly thought that Cold Billy was going to be able to get that final auto attack in there. Very surprised.
Sadly not. Go back to that fight in the middle. I think if Mr. Branch hits that W on that Warwick, I think that's a dead Warwick there. Sadly, you missed it.
Yeah.
But
Hammond to the burst of us. We see early fights all across the map, and that's exactly what we want to see. Funnily enough, actually, a lull in the top lane of the place we expected the most fighting has been where there has been the
Resident Sleeper. I do expect, like, at some point, this Kled will start looking for fights against the Aatrox, wanting to fight him, because he knows he will beat him.
Yeah, Silverback definitely aware as well of their chances to play in this match, and finding the openings more than anything, because you don't have all these periods of time where you can constantly make plays. It's down to these little gaps in open.
We see Mr. Ramsh going pretty deep for some vision here.
A good usage of this melee aggression to get some of that vision out and take control of the middle.
Also, you're using that Scry's Orb to try and clear some of the enemy vision out if there is any.
Yeah. We'll see. All impressive. I don't think he's actually going to get spotted by the sword. I think he's going to maybe run. No, it is actually going to get seen. Now they have all the information on where he is. Yuchi looking aggressively again, trying to get this deep vision, which gives you so much understanding of how this Warwick is going to be moving around the map, and Lord Impress is going to struggle to make an impact if he's getting caught and read out like this all the time.
No, definitely, vision control is going to be very important in this game. It's just, like, right now, knowing where this Warwick is, with Yuki pushed up so far, if without this vision, I'd be kind of screwed.
Indeed. I mean, it's kind of necessary. Yuki taking a lot of damage regardless of level 6 of 1 to you. So much damage. And there it is. The perfect execution.
That's just something you have to respect about the Akali, is that level 6 all in. It's so deadly. It's just there's so much potential just to take you from 100 to 0 like that.
Joker Student and Silverback getting into an early fight here. Silverback needs to be careful because obviously without the horse, I forgot, Scarl, that's its name. It's
the horse,
the cowardly lizard
chicken thing, that's what I like to call it. We see
my god.
Really aggressive.
No, the flash!
Might die for it.
Unlucky. That is really unfortunate. Tries to get aggressive, tries to flex on that Kled of Silverback, but the late flash from Silverback will secure his own life and also a kill onto the opposing top lane.
That was a bit questionable there, but it was one more auto.
Indeed it was. Yuchi again, quite out of position. Needs to be very careful.
A bit too aggressive here. I think he might go down again.
Once you just destroys him 100 to 0, you need to respect the fact that there is a 2-1 Akali in your lane. He's going to turn onto this. Really nice timing from Lord Impress to be here. Catch this duo from the bot lane. Trigger's also going to go down, and 2 kills over to this Warwick. That is 3 kills and 2k up for like.
Wait, wasn't it 4? Did they're
now
go down as well?
They are now 3 kills up.
Oh, now 3. Sorry. Now see, that's what we're talking about. Like team rotations. That's a key factor now, and it's just the fact that there was just more. The positioning was so much better out of Ike there that they were able to capitalize off that. Yeah,
and if you're going to start a fight as WSL right now, it cannot be around the mid lane. You need to respect 1-2. Does so much damage. They're going to secure this dragon here for the blue side. And when you fight, especially with the ultimate up from 1-2, he's going to completely destroy any squishy targets. They do not have anywhere near the amount of damage to like output anything in response as well. So he basically just gets free reign on this map right now. You need to respect this Akali.
Yeah, it's again coming back down to positioning. They know, but like WSL does really not want to be positioned around this mid lane right now. Like, and we were talking about top lane being a key matchup, but I do feel that mid lane is definitely shaping out to be the deciding factor of this game so far.
Yeah, I mean, we came into this match expecting something interesting in the top lane. We've had a little bit going on, but as you say, the mid lane is where it's really happening. 1-2 really flexing on this Akali. When I was expecting Yuchi on this LeBlanc, where they have a lot of games on it and look rather impressive, not really showing up in the same way.
No, not at all, yeah. I feel like it's again. Well, I keep saying it. It's positioning, and it's I expected these players to be positioned properly and know when they can and can't take a fight, and that was that even just go that W over the wall from Yuki was a bit questionable.
Yeah, a bit of a rudimentary mistake, honestly. Trying to put this pressure on the bot side. They've set up the vision, they set up everything for it, but they're just not respecting the fact that they don't have the power to do.
No, exactly. They just. I think what WSN needs to do now is just stay safe. There we also almost saw the Rakan getting punished for his moves there.
You need to be very careful. As we said earlier, you can easily get locked down. We'll see if rotate pings coming. We'll see the Rakan, Mr. Bramsh, rotating towards this mid lane. As they are going to be fighting Lord Impress a little bit, but they're just going to take control.
Just fighting over that vision. We also see that Yuchi has no lane priority now. He is stuck in his tower, just not being able to do anything. And that's just a consequence of his mistakes.
Yeah, and this ranged into melee matchup as well. Yuchi should have been able to abuse this early, and now that they've gotten so far behind, it's very difficult for them to actually do anything. It's just going to be a little bit brutal for them now. As Dopa is trading a little decently, but the spots are run away.
The key factor of Silverback winning top lane is that he needs to hit that Q, and that Q needs to go through, and then he's free to trade with the Aatrox, completely fine, because then his healing is cut completely. It's just if that doesn't happen, then there's no point in fighting the Aatrox. It's just gonna out heal you.
Indeed. We'll see Mr. Branch rotating back. Coming back to bot lane. Lord Impresto is waiting here. That is awful timing.
Beautiful play.
To get his teammates out. Drigger will be able to flash away and get it. Oh, the hook goes wide there from Oscar. And they do use a lot of summoners to try and secure that, but end up with
three flashes blown for that.
And in response, we saw a flash and a heal. That's all that came out. From Lord Save's Lab.
Well, that is definitely
great
positive
counter game.
Yeah.
Trying their best to farm up in this mid lane, but still down 30 CM.
Yeah, he's gonna be struggling for a while just to even become relevant against the Sakali.
Yeah. Here we hear it. Kled coming in very aggressively, moving on to Lord Impressive. Decides he wants to back out as that TP from Dope Student is forced.
Yeah, I don't know if that TP was necessary. Lord Impressed was there, and the Kled ult missed. If the Kled ult hit, then I would have thought it would have been a bit more necessary, but...
Yeah, it didn't really do too much. We will see
Hectormon coming out.
Shadow coming out to try and escape. As again, these teams, they really don't want to go for fights right now. No, they're not going particularly.
Oh shit.
Got a quick command call.
Oop.
Yeah, so is there any other lane other than mid which you think is being particularly relevant right now?
I feel that Ike is really scared of the threat of this bot lane, of WSL's bot lane in the late game. So they're putting so much, like, just with that play, they wasted so much trying to shut that bot lane down. But
yeah, I think what you need to do if you're worried about the bot lane is rotate one to you down on this Akali. Just have him blow up this Akali, blow up this Xayah. There is very little counterplay to that when you're as fed and ahead as one to you currently is. They are 2 levels up on the AD carry.
The biggest problem with that is that there wasn't enough damage to pop the Xayah before she could ult. If they'd done that, then that would have been a double kill for them. It's just that the fact that the Xayah got the ult off the Rakan had an easy escape after that. Yeah. It's just, I guess it's not really the champion's fault that they were having. It's just if they as you said, if they got the mid laner to roam down, have that it's not a little bit of damage from Akali, but having that more damage would have been so much more beneficial for them. Maybe wouldn't have had to blow 3 flashes.
Yeah, again, it's going to this bot lane and not respecting the fact that is a really safe duo. And just overextending it, using pretty much every CC you could, and still not being able to kind of sit anything down. I don't know who you really blame, but I think at the end, it's the shot caller like going, "Hey, we can do something here." It's not like Drigger didn't have flash. Let's go do something in the bot lane, because then you would have gotten the kill. Or if it was the idea was Mr. Bramsh isn't here, we can kill Drigger, but they didn't actually pull the trigger until Mr. Bramsh has come all the way back down to that lane after exerting pressure elsewhere on the map.
They didn't pull the trigger on Trigger.
They didn't.
No, but yeah, I think the timing was also bad because I do feel that if Mr. Bramsh wasn't there, they would have gotten the kill on the Xayah.
Yeah.
And Impress was sitting in that bush for a little bit of time, like 10, 15 seconds before Bramsh got there, if I'm not mistaken. And I think if they just gone a little bit sooner, then they could have definitely gotten the kill.
Yeah. Because then Mr. Bramsh isn't there. There isn't the knock-up. There isn't the quickness to stop everything. There isn't the shield. So much that kept Drigger barely alive. And just without one of them, really, you probably would have gotten that kill. And then you can turn from there onto Mr. Bramsh, who's probably coming in at that exact time to try and save Drigger and get the double kill. But you really need to find the exact opening. I was talking earlier about Silverback's understanding of item breakpoints, when he can go aggressive, what he can use, what levels are good for him. It's finding the more not obscure, more abstract moments to engage here.
Yeah,
you're looking for the openings in the fact that it's a 3v1 instead of a 3v2. It's not looking for these breakpoints. It's just looking for plays on the map which you can punish, because normally you should get something out of Mr. Bramsh rotating away from the lane for a while, especially with that Nautilus on Oscar.
No, I couldn't agree more. Just going back to this top lane that we thought would be so impactful. Look what happened after that failed dive by Dopa Student. Beforehand, he was about 10 CS above Silverback. Now it's flipped. Yeah. Silverback's 10 CS ahead. And he's pushing top lane. We can see top lane's pushing in Silverback's favor. He's pushing towards the tower, and Dope Student's still in mid. So we're going to see a few plates obtained in the last minutes of tower plating be up, maybe.
Yeah, I think this is again down to I can't quite remember specifically what I was referring to, but the first ganks, these first usages, these first 1v1s, which really do decide the game. So Dopa is going to really struggle to actually make any meaningful fights anymore because they died early to Silverback. And Silverback now has the advantage, is stronger, is upper level, is up 10 CS, has a more, not quite a more decent set of items, but still has that TP up where Dopa Student doesn't, because of the usage of his ultimate, that charge. Will force it out from him and can now use that to maybe get something in top lane, can make a play on the map, can do so much from it.
I also do like the I don't know if it was intentional, but the Kled forcing out the Aatrox TP by using his ult. Now Silverback has the TP advantage over Dope Student, and who knows, that could turn into something within the next 5 minutes.
Indeed it could. So talk about the next 5 minutes. Over the next 5 minutes, we still have Rift Horror up in the next 5 minutes. We're looking at a different card. We're looking at the drag and the Ocean Drake being up in about 35 seconds. And a lot of these objectives to play around. So I want to see teams either take charge, really utilize these tower plays that you're talking about, which are only up for 1 minute more, or to look around the map, look for these openings, perhaps 3-buff one of the junglers, start to deny them some of that utility, especially when Impress is almost certainly stronger. It is 800 gold up on Mental God here.
Got the level lead as well.
Yeah. You need to utilize that well and just bully him to take the advantage. Because I think in the later game, I'd rather have the Mental God on this Hecarim, because you can just one-shot one of these relevant.
I think we're going straight back in the game now, after that long pause.
I like it when we have color back on the screen finally.
Oh yeah,
it's beautiful.
Sepia is a nice filter, but for photographs, not for games.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
We do see the Aatrox roaming straight back top lane though, just to
Oh,
try
you
and
have to. You lose so much if you don't there. We were talking about the turret plates. You lose so many of them. I think you're still going to see one from Silverback here, potentially. It's actually looking to freeze here, which is interesting.
Yeah, we see Akali picking up her first key item, that Gunblade. I was talking about that earlier. Makes her such a nuisance later. Just all that healing she gets off of it.
Yeah. Hexblade very strong. Interesting to see if we see that Lost Chapter built into Mirage. Actually, wait. Lost Chapter doesn't build into Mirage anymore, does
Ludens.
it? Yeah, it builds into Ludens. You'd think that Lost Chapter would become part of a book.
But like,
right?
this is Riot. Like, nothing makes sense.
You can't just explain everything away with "it's Riot."
But it's Riot.
But damn. Yeah. Again, like, we see these rotations from Mr. Bromwich. They're not particularly fantastic. They get a little bit out of value across the map. But we've seen, more than anything, them just not being punished. And he really shouldn't be able to get away with it. Because
No, he definitely shouldn't be.
Back is caught out a little bit, but does use that dash. And Impress is going to struggle to really find this gang.
Oh, missing the Q Silverback.
Yeah, Impress
Mental
realizing...
not paying attention to what's happening. Oh, lag, maybe? Oh, the screen's gone black.
Whole host of issues here. Not exactly...
Yeah, we got phone calls, we got
yeah.
junglers not being able to see the game. But then
I
again,
mean, it's pointed out very accurately. If you've played enough Rexar, you don't need to see. You can use that tremor sense. You can feel the game from the sound.
Exactly. Looking at the map right now, I know we can't really like look around, but what are you thinking right now with what's happening on the map?
Well, so I want to see teams put pressure towards this Rift Herald. We've got both junglers topside, and the team to do it realistically has to be Ike. They've got Wanty in a good position. They want to utilize leverage that power in the mid lane with the completed Hexagon Blade, use it to take an objective, and then I think you just put it mid. You start to take this, free up the Akali to just rotate around the map.
No, I feel the same way, but I'm also really excited. Well, not excited. I'm really wanting them to to take this dragon quickly. Just it might be an ocean, but if Ike gets it, an ocean drake on a Warwick, it's pretty scary. He just goes out of a fight, regens some of his HP, and just goes straight back in. He's already a threat. Getting him and chunking him on and then having him come back is not great. So I'm hope for WSL's sake, they need to pick up this ocean drake.
No, indeed they do. And it also helps because then you can reset it. You can look for some of the more ones. You can trade it across the map for this objective. So what I want to see them do is take it in response to this Rift Herald going down. I think you see that the Rift Herald started, and you almost automatically go towards this dragon. Especially because we didn't actually see a proper fight between these topside junglers. I'm not sure if they spotted Mental God or not, so they won't know how to track him. So he is actually heading towards the spot side.
I don't think they would have seen him because he didn't interact with Binding Warwick at all.
Maybe he's gonna go do Dragon. No, it doesn't move on towards it. Still hasn't been spotted out. And is going to hang around outside this dragon. Is now making a very
he's wasting a little bit of time. Just standing there, not really doing
he's waiting
much.
for his team to come up, and now they're going to go towards this dragon. They're going to secure the vision, and he's going to be able to move on it. Right? So we do see the Warwick across the map. Impress will pick up this Rift Herald, which, as he said, going to be very impactful. They didn't utilize the
Akali to get the plates
directly, but Wanty's still here, can go for an engage. I think you could fight here. Like, you can 1v2 these guys.
See that? Akali getting out of that fight completely fine. Just goes back to saying how squishy Akali is as a champion.
Yeah.
And not squishy, slippery. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. It's if you can catch her out, all good, but it's catching her is the problem. She's got so much mobility, and you need to capitalize on when that mobility's down.
Indeed, here we see the engage from Oscar. They're going to go straight on and destroy Mental God. They're going to go onto this dragon, presumably, and then maybe try and exert some pressure on the bot side, as they do still have this Rift Herald.
Yeah, well, we're getting straight into that dragon. Gonna pick it up, hopefully.
Unnecessary. We'll see the charge used by this Kled Silverback getting very aggressive onto Dopa Student here. Will force out the flash and still getting aggressive. But won't be able to dive under that tower. Doesn't want to get too aggressive. Lord Impress gonna secure this.
My spectator's frozen, so I need to wait for it to fix itself. So there we go.
What seems like the hook does actually go down to Mr. Pramsh, and waiting in the wings is Lord Impress. Cold Billy uses their ultimate, that's Killer Instinct, to jump over the wall and follow up, finishing off Mr. Really nice play there. Though, overextends, and that's just a really disappointing play from Lord Impress.
You know, it always goes back to that overextending has been like a major factor in the last two games. And it's just a small mistake that can be fixed so easily.
Yeah, you just need to respect your opponents a little bit more, and I think that's been a big issue for everyone here so far. We'll see Dopa getting chased down a little bit. Silverback trading well on this Kled so far. I've been a bit disappointed already with Wanty on Zakali, not pushing anywhere near as hard as I expected them to. Already flexing.
He has such a lead. He could be abusing it so much more, but he's not.
Literally everywhere on the map, and no one could stop him. Still going to stick around mid lane though. Even though Mr. Bramsh, again, trailing all the information. A bit of a ballsy play, does manage to get away with it. If that had gone wrong, you're sitting as Mr. Bramsh like, wow,
that was a bit questionable, but I'm happy that it worked out for him.
The suppression onto Mental God will utilize that onslaught of shadows to just about escape. It won't go down. A lot of damage going onto WSL here as Ike looking pretty good. We'll see the Herald getting popped on the top side. They're going to take this tower. Especially with Wanty rotating all the way up here. Maybe they're looking for a second one.
And it's definitely possible for them to get both, with Silverback and Mental God having to back. Maybe not Mental God, but definitely Silverback having to back. Kled without Skull, not exactly useful at all.
The student utilizing that turret. Sorry, the Herald is not quite going to take this tower down, but get pretty darn close. Cold Billy under a lot of pressure as well, as their tower is getting pretty low. And with the oppression from this Rakan Zaya bot lane, you need to be very careful.
We're talking about it. It's such a safe bot lane, but at the same time, it has so much kill pressure. Just with the burst damage that can come out for that with the synergy between Zaya's W and Rakan.
Yeah, they will finally secure that bot tower. Cold needs to be very careful as Mr. Bramsh overextends. Almost goes down here. Oh, Dopa Student not quite able to get it. It will be... Oh my, Lord Impress doesn't even secure it. They're going straight onto Trigger. They don't get that knock-up. Mr. Bramsh will just about... No, will finally go down, but they trade Lord Impress from it. This is a very sloppy fight, and they actually lose more members than they get out of it, as Cold Billy is going to have to keep away. Yuji will blow him up, and this is such a failed gank from Ike.
And see that fight was exactly what I was talking about. The Rakan is so safe with that extended E range from the Zaya, giving him so much time to just make that chase carry on.
Yeah, given so much flexibility and ways to play around, leading to Xtrigger being 4-1, and considering the early pressure that Cold and Oscaro were putting on, this is a really surprising scoreline to. Especially when
I'm very surprised with how that ended up going for WSL. They played it extremely well, and it's just ended up working in their favor.
Indeed, it did. Capitalizing as well, as they did take that on the tower, and then linked it straight into something else. Again, it's about taking your advantages and converting them more than anything.
If you don't convert your advantages, or if you don't convert something out of the kills you get, there's no point in getting the kills. That's what I like to think about it.
At the end of the day, League of Legends isn't about killing champions. It's about 3 lanes,
Good
and
one,
a
Games
bunch
going
of
0 and
minions,
12.
and a couple of towers. Keeping up that vision. Obviously very important for his team to utilize this Hecarim properly. This Hecarim is actually getting chased down and goes down to 1T here. I mean, 1T is definitely the most wanted for this blue side. I mean, what can you really do against this Trigger? Moves into 3 players. This is going to be a mid tower, almost certainly going down. Now looking for the second one, or moving towards this dragon. Is what we're going to do again. No, potentially looking straight onto Baron. We see that Impress pings his smite. This is looking very greedy. Yeah, they're going to go straight onto the Baron. 22 minutes. If they manage to take it here, this is going to be pretty big. You do see Mr. Bramsh and Yuchi hanging around, wanting to make sure if they're low, I'm going to punish. Be careful for Oscara here. We'll be doing the one in here. Mr. Bramsh, very far forward, and you have a lot of safety with this Rakan, but they're just not abusing it well enough, or utilizing it in the right way. And that's why often he's getting turned on in situations where he really shouldn't be caught out. Third Baron for the blue team. Sorry, not Baron, Dragon. Entirely wrong.
That's my playback keeps freezing, so I'm always having to go back to going or fast forwarding, so I'm a little bit behind sometimes. But if they were able to secure that Baron there, that would have, because with that last fight, that WSL came out on top. If I could secure the Baron there, they would have gained their grip back on the game, because I do feel the grip on the game is slowly slipping away.
Yeah, I mean, you need to be careful. You want to try and get something done early, because you have that advantage. Drigger getting very aggressive here. He's quite far pushed up. Will just about survive 1-2. Is actually going to try and get aggressive here, but doesn't respect the fact that Metal God can just destroy you. And a big bonus bounty, 500 gold Metal God on this Hecarim, and then they're going to take this tower as well, top lane. Needs to definitely be very careful as they move into this blue side. They do have the numbers similarity, but Cold Billy on this top side would make it a 3v2 if you aren't too careful. But utilizing that vision.
Just going back to the Kali trying to take out Trigger there, I think it's a bit late for 1T to try and do things like that. He had the opportunity to do that early in the game, but he didn't capitalize on it. And now it's so easy for people to lock him down that he needs to pick his fights a lot more carefully.
They really do need to be careful. 1T honestly, Carly had a fantastic early game, but struggling to make that transition into the mid. Very aggressive here, though. Oh, that was an interesting Zonya's mate. As 1T looking for a little bit more than they can chew. So, if you see Mr. Bramsh without any movement spells, that is one dead dodo. Not quite the living. Yeah, and taking control of these waves, very important. We see them trying to push this mid wave on in. All saves lives, struggling to you make an impact this game. They've gotten a couple of kills all over the place, secured a couple of towers as well, and that's the rest of the game.
From my point of view, this game needs to become just peel for this Kai'Sa, because we've seen what Trigger can do on the champion. Just peel for this Kai'Sa and just try and keep everyone off of her, and then eventually she will win this game for you.
Yeah.
But as the game goes on, it does get a lot more difficult with the Warwick, with the Akali, with the Nautilus, even the Kai'Sa. It's so difficult to keep that team off of the Kai'Sa. I mean, off of the Xayah.
Again, heavy usage of these control wards. 2 in the Baron pit right now.
It's just the game. League of Legends. It's a game about vision at this point. It's knowing where your team is, where your enemy is, knowing what you can and can't do.
Indeed. You know what you can't do? Try and 3-stack on top of an enemy ward. Doesn't generally work very well.
No, it's definitely not advised. But like, hey, who knows? Sometimes maybe it could work.
Yuki and Washu now both solidly in this top lane. Trying to look for somewhere else they can kind of work their magic. There's actually, so far, post the kind of period reign of terror by Wantu, Yuchi's been doing pretty darn well actually.
Yeah, no, yeah, he's clawed his way back, made himself more relevant in this game, and just like, well, in a way, shown he deserves to be here. After those early mistakes, it's nice to see that he's sort of picked himself back up and come back into this.
Yeah, Yuchi having to flash there, really respecting the amount of damage coming out of that Akali, and rightfully so. Terrifying to say the very least.
No, rightfully so. If you misplay against this Akali, you need to watch out because your life bar 100-0 in an instant.
Here we hear the charge coming through. Some Silverback isn't quite going to be up. The rest of the team is trying to merge on their position. Go trying to set up that gank and kill onto the support here, but they will escape with their lives. Turn back on in. Mr. Branch gets taken about 1T here. We do see the Nautilus deciding he really doesn't want to be a part of this. Unfortunately, doesn't have very much health, and it is Wantu who is closing up this fight. Finally gets traded. It's 2 for 2. All the kills currently on the mid laners. Impressed, looking for a way to try and move this fight. Wants to get Yuchi, but bitten off more that they can shoot. They at least finally take down that LeBlanc, but will trade their own life as forfeit. Definitely looking towards this next dragon, which is again another ocean. Not exactly what you want. But might be a commiserations prize for WSL here, because you really start looking towards.
Well, just that fight was, again, one of the messier ones we've seen today. It goes people not respecting the Akali damage with Trigger just getting not completely blown up by it, but eventually killed by the Akali. I can't remember. Trigger's positioning was pretty terrible in that fight, with just running straight in next to the Aatrox. It was a bit questionable in my opinion.
Do you see again? Trying to gain a lot of vision. Walls of vision have been pretty common so far this game. Wantu will see the control ward, decides against it. As does want to secure this dragon. Trying to get 4 out of 5 dragons back here. You hear the charge again. There comes Mental God. Doesn't actually quite manage to steal it, but they will trade frags back and forth. You need to be very careful. There's 1T. He's eating a lot of damage. Needs to be careful. Let's again. There's the bear trap on the rope. And there's a dead one at that.
Yeah, I do feel like this is going to be I know this game's already been going on for half an hour now, but I feel like this game could be still go on for a very long time. And the teams are still pretty even to this point.
Indeed it is. Starting off on this Baron. This is interesting to see that WSL are the ones who are starting the Baron. Normally I would have expected, like, they are without their mid laner though, and that is a big portion of their power budget. Be very careful here. Dopa way too far forward. It gets destroyed by the focus fire. And now the rest of the team needs to be very careful. There's not much you can really do. This way soon return to this Baron. They just want to get it over and done with. The Lord Impressed is looking to try and steal it. Will get body blocked, so isn't in range for the smite. And that is fantastic from WSL here.
Such clean play. It's nice to see something like that. Just even something as simple as a body block to stop the smite. It's just.
Indeed. So the Spirit Visage finally come through from Mental God here. Will help mitigate a lot of the damage. Specifically
Coming out of
from
the Kali especially.
yeah.
I think Wanty and Cobalt are definitely they're definitely the last little bit of hope that this team has. Aatrox is not really doing much for the team anymore. He didn't really get his early lead. And sadly this is now where he's been relegated to. He's more of just a distraction for the enemy team.
Yeah, you definitely need to be careful. Again, they're trying to utilize these side waves. WSL are taking a lot of pressure all over the place, and with this Baron buff, they're going for that 1-3-1 strategy, which is working out pretty darn well for them so far. As they've yet to actually have anyone engaged.
See, now this is the name of the game. Using that Baron buff to pressure the towers, increase that gold lead, which is already sitting about 4k, 4.5k.
I didn't know you could actually do that. That's pretty crazy. You see Lord Impulse getting very aggressive here. Unfortunately, the attempted fight, Cold Billy is going to have to stopwatch there. Way too far forward as Drigger picks up the opposing EDC, and you're a little bit in the wrong place at the wrong time, Wanty. You will trade out. I guess unsurprisingly at this point, is still a very strong Akali, no matter what I say. Tower under a lot of pressure here. WSL looking to try and push this. Pull that in here, but it's better to kind of back off. Look towards the other lanes. They have waves pushed in. This is perfect for them.
Again, I feel like positioning is probably it's Ike's biggest problem, and it takes them. They need to realize this, and I don't know how long it's going to take them to actually figure it out.
Indeed.
Because right now it does seem that WSL just have all the pressure in the world.
Yeah, I mean, they've been making really proactive plays as well. Utilizing the Zonias only when it's really necessary, and like what we saw from on the previous team as well. They just use that Zonias because it's on cooldown. You want to try and get rid of it. Or on accident, showing someone something, you click it. But you need to be focused, honestly, for this game. And talking about focus, you need to be focused on the Elder Dragon, which is spawning 50 whole seconds. Not far off.
Now, what WSL really doesn't want to do is give that up to Ike, because Ike has every dragon in this game so thus far. It's going to be a big threat for them, or for WSL, and I do feel like they can definitely stop Ike from taking this dragon, especially with all 5 of them roaming down there.
Yeah, I believe that Ike fight for their friends, and so far their teamwork has been impeccable. So it definitely makes sense. A lot of posturing around this dragon, the Elder Dragon. Obviously very important, but I just want to see someone pull the trigger. We need to find the perfect engage. Sometimes
Yeah, we're at the point now where a fight just could end the game.
For sure. I see a lot of opportunities to actually engage, but they are going to back off again. Having a little bit of an internet issue or something along those lines. Okay. So 7 minutes of pause time left. Hopefully they get this sorted by then. Don't want to catch them on like this.
Let's hope my playback sort of fixes itself, because I'm still struggling with being a little bit behind.
Yeah. Have you tried pressing the plus button?
I know I have. I've done it a few times now.
That's normally the issue.
No, it's not really a problem. It's like 15 seconds, and then I have to fast forward, and then I have to wait a few seconds for it to catch up.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward if the fight starts on. And we've seen lots of very split-second fights that have started out of very little, just one player being out of position, and then we have a full 5-on-5 team fight. As these teams seem very willing to.
Yeah, it's just finding that correct moment, as you said. Right now, it's the perfect engage that is needed, because well, WSL's in a little bit of a better position because I doubt at this point that Ike could push through what 3,000 inhibitor and then 2 next towers and then still end the game. But it's a very big possibility that WSL can win the game off the next fight.
Yeah, almost certainly. Actually, I think.
Yeah,
because you
So
win the
Ike-
next fight, and then they can't challenge you when you have Dragon, Elder
of course.
Dragon up, even if you don't have Drakes. But if it goes the other way, it's looking pretty scary. I think this is not the greatest collection of dragons with 2 oceans in it. Any other collection, and I think this is fantastic, but it's still pretty darn good.
I would have liked to
Especially
see a
Pet.
mountain shuffled in there somewhere.
Yeah, one of each.
Uh,
You know what? I'm happy to settle for that.
Well, who really needs Cloud Drake, to be fair?
Drake's great. It just means fights start even quicker because they're looking for this out of combat move speed, which lets them just get right amongst it as the fight starts.
It's also in combat movement speed.
Oh yeah, sorry, they changed it. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Movement speed's great. It means you move faster, people. Look, Hecarim gets more damage out of it. As the Elder Dragon has started, they have a lot of damage and they're starting to just go right on for it. You see the charge. They're just trying to lock them up for as long as possible. Silverback is on his backside, but is getting zoned out. And 3 members of Ike are just controlling this fight. But finally, things start to turn, and they lose 3 members. Huge mistake here. We see Wantu trying to get something done. He's going to use that stopwatch. Going to make it away themselves, but they lose so many members for this. Big mistakes from the side of Ike.
That was a very questionable fight, a little bit messy. But
They had the move speed. They believe.
that movement speed is the most important stat in the game.
Yeah, it's great. Look, how are you going to start fights without movement speed? How are you going to do anything without movement speed?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Technically, without movement speed, you wouldn't be able to move.
Perfect. Red team do finally take that Elder Dragon. And Nash, as is being pinged by Silverback here, is up in 40 seconds. And that is going to be the key part here. You're not really going to be able to close out the game just off of this because you don't have all the members. This fight was a little bit scrappy. But you can turn straight to this Nash, which is up in now 25. And you can pretty quickly destroy that, especially with X-Trigger doing a lot of damage on his side right now, as they have 4 whole items and an execution core.
Look at this gold lead carries on growing throughout the game. We're up like 7, almost 8k now. 7.
Yes.
And right now, what WSL needs to be looking for is that last fight to end the game, because it's very possible for them at this point in time.
Yeah, Ike going for this vision on the Scuttler, pretty necessary, because you want to have as much vision around this this Baron as possible, because you don't want it to get snuck. Very confused by English for a second there, but yeah, you don't want WSL to see this Baron, turn onto your mid lane, and the game's already over before you even know it. With this this vision, you're going to be able to stop that, at least in part.
Well, it's just a Baron steal is so easy for WSL to do. Just having a Claire and a Hecarim charging into that pit, it creates so much commotion for everything.
Yeah, the panic makes it very difficult to get that smite down properly.
That's when junglers miss smites, when they start panicking.
Yeah. You've got to be cool as a cucumber. So far, Impress has been
It's not
a little
bad.
bit gung-ho with those ultimates, but in the end, I've been impressed with the Impress. Yeah.
I'm really, again, we're stuck in the situation, we're just waiting for this team to pull the trigger.
Yeah, I think what you do if you're WSL, you wait for that Rift Scuttler to pop, and then you bait Baron, kill one of these players, and then from there, you can do whatever you want. You've got a player up, and no one can really challenge you.
That's probably the best situation for them to do.
The quickness
with
does come out from Mr. Brahms here. This is a big opportunity. Good knockup, but there's no one to follow. It is 3 versus 4 here. And this is going to be multiple dead members. This could just be the game here as WSL find the opening that they need. And, well, that's looking like it could just be it. Trigger kills with the burn from Elder Dragon. And they're going to go straight onto this Baron. And that's looking like a big, fat game over. Wantu with such a great lead early on, but unable to really convert it into anything. Gets a couple of extra kills, but doesn't set up their team for anything. Yuchi.
No.
It
definitely could have.
Oh?
He could have definitely played his lead a lot better.
Yeah.
And it's with just roaming, simply roaming. He just stayed in his mid lane the entire game for the most part, and that was his biggest downfall. Is that he didn't try and spread his lead around the map.
Yeah, and with that, you could have had potentially more terrifying Colt Billy here on this Xayah. Sorry, not Xayah. Kai'Sa. And then you start to look at these fights. You start to look at these fantastic missile barrages, which just chunk half the team. You need to utilize it. That's the thing, is that they've not been setting themselves up. 2 inhibitors secured for the red side, and it's not looking great if you're Ike here.
No, definitely not. I do feel like this is... There is very little chance that Ike wins this game.
Yeah, it's looking like too little, too late. There's not much they can do.
Yeah,
there are actually outs for them. We look, Elder Dragon's up in 2 minutes. If you take Elder Dragon, it's going to be very difficult for you to lose a fight. You actually, I'd argue, with 4 dragons and Elder Dragon, you have to be really throwing to lose that.
Yeah, I get that's very true. But another little key factor here, remember even going back all the way to that top dive, that leaves Aatrox now with 3 items and boots, but at least Silverback he's got 4 items and boots, and that's the power level. So Opportunity really does not have that much of an impact with this game.
Yeah, and it was one of the players that we were really excited for at the start. Yeah. You were looking at this Aatrox, you were like, this is going to be great. This is going to be perfect opportunity for him, and has been able to do very little, sad.
Yeah, it's sad to see, because as you said, we both had high hopes to watching this top lane battle, and then it just turned into nothing.
We got battles all over the map, so we're not really lacking in terms of that. But it wasn't quite what we were expecting, and I was excited to see some more regress in top lane, because we've seen we had some tanks earlier today, and nothing
definitely.
particular interest.
We're at the point of the game, both 80 carries are full build. And it's just at this point, it's positioning is key, in my opinion, between them. Who's going to make the bigger impact?
Indeed. Silverback trying to get this Bangkok is fighting Wanyu, but Wanyu, you really can't actually do that much. The charge comes in, and on the other side, they've got very little pressure. Ica are unable to do all too much. There is a the quickening. Lord Impress heats a lot of damage. There is a fantastic opportunity. Mental God runs them through, and Trigger following up with so much damage to Xayah. It's one hell of a hyper carry with her boyfriend. She's going to take everything you've got, and that is going to be a fat GG for Ward Save Lives as they show up in this second game of the day.
This is a brilliant showing by Ward Save Lives. They took every opportunity they had to gain a little bit of a lead, and I couldn't say anything better. There was a pretty near perfect game of League of Legends.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. I wouldn't say near perfect. They dropped a couple of kills. They got a lot of pressure in the early game. When mid-game turned around, they really revved up their engines, put the carry pants on. Yuchi started to show up after a very lackluster early game, and that was when they really turned on. Yeah. WSL having a bit of issues prior to this with being on the same page, really started to come together and utilize that team mentality that we really needed from them, and proved a lot of the doubters wrong, I'd argue here. This was a fantastic game from them.
Oh, we do like to see Middle of the Room as a team coming together as a team and working as one. As you said, it was a bit shaky in the beginning, but they definitely pulled it around towards the end.
Indeed, they did. Thank you very much for watching. I have been Rook, and joining me has been I'm Sup, by the way, and we won't be your casters for games 3 and 4 tonight. That'll be left up to some other people, but you will have PMA versus Elo Thieves coming up just after the break. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next.
Thank you, guys. See you.
I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the only one. No one likes being lied to. You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I wanna burn all the bridges between us. I've been stuck on your memory, but it's not like I need it. And we may have some history, but we don't have to repeat it. You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I'm gonna burn all the bridges between us. I can't focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just trying to find a way to make it easier to say that there's just one thing on my mind, and I think it's time for you to realize I want you all to myself. Don't wanna share you with nobody else. So give me something to believe. Will you promise me? Will you promise me? Will you promise me? I am not a stranger to excuses. Burned me once or twice, I expect them. I just wanna know what your truth is. Will you be the one to break me out of this? I want you all to myself. Don't wanna share you with nobody else. So give me something to believe. Will you promise me? Will you promise me? So give me something to believe. Will you promise me? Will you promise me? Will you promise me?
You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul. Can you dig any deeper now? I gave you all I own, put you on this golden throne, but I'm a little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now.
Hello and welcome. We are back for our second game. Well, yeah, our third stream game actually of tonight. My bad.
Third game.
Yes, it is, my friend Ice, and it's the dazzling DV duo of myself and Ice Arrow here to cast now.
Yeah.
How you
And for
doing?
yeah, I'm doing well. For this, third and final game, we got
Yeah.
two teams we're quite familiar with. We streamed both of them, casted both of them last week.
Yeah.
Both of them won their caught me in a lie.
No, they didn't both
No,
win.
Elo Thieves lost, but PMA
Yeah, they
did win.
did.
I do want to say
Mm?
this is a battle of, in my opinion, the two best performing junglers available at the moment, at least from what we've seen on stream.
Yeah.
Dewey last week put on an early game masterclass on how to read the opponent's jungler, and Laudio had some really good ability on Silas.
Yeah, he definitely did. Playing around with the enemy team's ults is very, very enjoyable when you're using them to good effect.
Yeah, PMA definitely respecting Dewey here, starting off with two of his most comfortable champions in the Elise and in Italy. Whereas Elo Thieves decide to ban out the Vlad and the Ari. The Vlad is actually a decent ban. We saw last week that Last can play it as well, so it is a bit of flex between their mid and their ADC.
Yeah,
And
Lycaon and Blast can both play that.
yeah, and Lycaon is just a good Ari, so that's a very solid ban.
Yeah, he did pull out the solo lane Tristana though in that last game we saw.
Yeah.
So,
I'd be surprised if this final ban is not either a Silas or a Tristana. I think taking the Silas away from Laudio, who, if you look at his OP.gg, absolutely spams that champion.
yeah.
And he also showed on stream last week what he's get up. Okay, never mind.
Gonna be a
It's
Zed.
Zed ban.
What are your thoughts there, Rice?
Does surprise me.
Yeah.
I'd expect we might see a Tristana.
I
here.
think we definitely will.
It just flexes really well between their ADC and their mid.
Yeah, he played it to really good effect as well, Lycaon in that mid lane. I definitely.
Nope, that's going to be a Veigar.
That's a Veigar first pick. Where are we reckoning that goes, though? That is the important question.
I am not too sure. I mean, PMA has they've shown a propensity to sort of flex their major spot lane, so it could definitely go there. However, Veigar, I'd expect it mid. And that's a Renekton for what I can only assume is for Merst, or Daddy J as he's now known. He absolutely loves that champion. And then a Morgana for Nixiana, who's her and Navarian are actually filling for their normal bot lane. So it should be interesting to see how they do up against Last and Gandhi, who kind of showed last week that they're a very formidable duo.
Yeah, they definitely are. And in my mind, they could be the definitely in the top 3 bot lanes in the Gold Plat League at the moment. From what
they definitely are. You know, they've got really good synergy. They've been real life friends for quite a long time. They, I imagine, communicate quite well in game together.
Yeah, you'd have thought that. Elo Thieves, the Thieves over here, have actually drafted 2 of the picks they did draft on stream last time with the Renekton and the Morgana. So it will be interesting to see what this third pickup is. It will be a Talia.
Okay, I can only imagine that's gonna go towards the mid. No, I'm lying. I have seen Dewey play a lot of that in the jungle. He enjoyed it last split. He sort of tends to favor these more AP junglers. So
it wouldn't surprise me.
I think it'd go there, actually. And you know, into the Jarvan, it does very well. You know, the W sort of negate means that if the Jarvan wants to get on top of her, he's going to have to take a whole lot of free damage.
But I will say that this Talia is a pick that has a lot of roam potential, and as we've seen from the casting ban, which Charmander played on stream in their last game, he does like to have these sort of picks which have these like sort of roaming tools to get around the map quite quickly. So I would actually quite like to see it go towards Charmander here for him to get about and influence the map.
I don't see it going mid. It's not a champion Charmander seems to play a lot of compared to, and then I know Dewey really, really likes the champion.
So we could definitely see it go jungle here. You're definitely right. And What? Where do you reckon?
That Karma's going to
Karma?
go mid. That's going mid.
think?
Charmander has played it before when I've seen him play it before during Eel of Thieves. They like to stream their scrims a lot, so I've definitely seen that go mid.
Yeah.
It's not
Ooh.
really.
That's a big pick, guys. We have the Vayne.
Yeah,
That
that's
is something.
that's
Yeah.
last going. You know what? This is a fill bot lane. We are better than these guys. This is my signature pick.
Yeah, this is the signature pick. I'm very excited to see this.
Yeah. Oh, and the fresh as well.
Yeah, Gandhi on his signature.
Absolutely loved Gandhi on fresh last week. I thought he did a great job.
He really did.
So it'd be interesting to see how he does this week.
Yeah, it really will. They do have a very shieldy squad though over here with the Karma. Maybe you'd expect. What would you expect to play into the Vayne?
A Sivir.
I think
I'd
he's
look.
got.
No, Sivir's banned. We're blind.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Cho'Gath. Okay. Oh, this is
They are
interesting.
going to play
So
AP bot then.
maybe
think.
it's going to be Karma Morgana bot lane, Cho'Gath mid, yeah, and then Talia jungle.
That's an interesting pick. Charmander playing the Cho'Gath. The Cho'Gath actually did see last split in the hands of Agratar, if I
Guitar, yeah.
remember. Dear me, Cho'Gath one tricks.
You know, I'm not that big of a fan of it into the Veigar. I feel like he's going to struggle to get on top of him for that R execute damage with the cage.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I'm just struggling to see how they're gonna, between a fresh, a Jarvan, a Shen, how they're gonna be able to get on top of this Vayne. Because if Vayne gets the free hit against this team, she will just shred through them.
Yeah, I reckon this is definitely a one draft by PMA because this is a very magic heavy team on the side of the Thieves over here, with the only AD threat being this Renekton from Daddy J. And Spunners, Lordio, and Gandhi can all build some magic resist, and that should help them out a lot in this game, dealing with the Karma and Cho'Gath damage, and even that Talia. I think that's going to be the most interesting thing. How they're going to deal with this.
Yeah, it'll be good to see. I mean, Elo Thieves, they don't mind playing these a bit more non-standard comps. They definitely, and between the Baron and Nixiana, they have good synergy on this bot lane as well. Morgana is one of Nixiana's favorite champions. Navarian used to be an ADC main, but has now kind of flexed towards mid, from what I know. So I think he'd be quite proficient on the Karma as well.
He should be at home on that Karma. But I think the real big talking point about this game, like we said at the start, is these junglers. We do have last Vayne in the game, but Dewey's early game impact in that on the Elise, I should say, in the last stream game was magnificent, like you said. If he replicates that, do you think they win this game?
I don't see them having enough. They have to win within the first 20, 30 minutes, I'd have to say, because once that
scales,
Veigar, that Vayne gets to scale, I don't see them having anyway. So I think I see the game going actually a lot like the Pro versus Elo Thieves game did last week. I think Dewey's going to do work early, but then just not going to have quite enough to be able to close it out. And then it's going to go late, hit that sort of 35-minute stage, at which point PMA's comp just sort of auto wins the game unless Elo Thieves has some really amazing team fights.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right. I think Talia should be looking at this top lane. I think that's probably the strongest, has the most differential between the two players. I think Daddy J should win this lane pretty hard. I do like Spunners. He's good on the tanks, but it's really whether he can play into Daddy J, who I regard as probably one of the best top laners in Gold Plat. Merged has
Yeah,
really shown it.
he's definitely up there. But having said that, I think Spunners knows his job. Spunners' job on this team is never to be the one who goes 1v5 carries the game.
You're
He's gonna
definitely right.
play. He's gonna play these tanks. Be a bit down a lane, but with a Shen ult, you're always gonna have impact. So, and eventually, when you hit sort of late game, it is a Renekton. It is gonna it is gonna fall off a bit. And once you start getting some armor on you, maybe a Tiamat, actually this Shen can trade relatively well into the Renekton.
Yeah, it is going to be an interesting matchup considering the Shen buffs that did come through. And having played this matchup myself into Shen, playing the Shen into a Renekton before, you can win that lane, but it is going to be a lot on these taunts that you can hit. You've got to hit the taunt to, get that bonus damage, percentage health. I think it's percentage health from the Q, or max health it might be. That's it.
Yeah, it's max health.
That's it.
But I'm looking forward to this level 1. Both of these teams, they're not afraid to go for some shenanigans level 1. I don't think we're going to see a very standard here. I'd expect at least an invade from the side of Elo Thieves. They have really good the Morgana Q, and then need be Talia Q even level 1. Once you get the 5 rounds of it off on work ground is
there's a
still
lot.
going to do a lot of damage.
Well, you've even got the Cho'Gath knockup if he's going to start that. And
yeah,
I think we should be looking at the runes at this stage as well. That's a Glacial Cho'Gath. We've got the double Glacial mid lane, which I have only seen once, and it was in the top lane by a good friend of mine.
I'm not sure we're allowed to reveal that.
No, but then no one will know who it was, but it didn't go great for him.
No, it was an unfortunately picked matchup, but I do think the matchup here is better for the Cho'Gath.
It should be better for the Cho'Gath here.
Yeah.
And I will like to see this Cho'Gath in action. And as you say, we have got some sort of grouping going on here by the Thieves.
And we'll just kind of see PMA standardly back off and then look for a counter ward topside between the Veigar and the Shen. So while it was an invade, nothing too interesting happened.
It would have been nice to see a bit more, but yeah.
Yeah, probably I'd imagine see. Yeah, Dewey look to start top lane. He is going to be spotted out on that. Compared to. That's Ryan. Where's Lordio looking to start? He's late, gonna flex up towards the top side.
So both junglers starting on the top side.
Yeah. Having said that, Elo Thieves, they have a ward on the red. They don't see him there, so they know he's starting top side as well. So both junglers have an idea of where they're starting. Both of them starting top side here kind of speaks towards, they understand that if this Renekton gets way too far ahead, that's a good win condition for them. So I'd imagine Dewey's going to want to look for some proactive ganks there, while Ryan might just sort of hover, look for some counter ganks, or just making sure that the Shen survives these sort of first levels until level 6, where you can start getting some map impact.
Renekton is very strong in this early game, and Shen himself isn't too bad in the early levels. But I expect to see trades go down about level 3 when everything's you've got all your spells unlocked.
Yeah. All right. So the first dragon we're seeing is it's gonna be an Ocean on the board. Ocean early game is fantastic, especially into these more pokey lanes.
And the hook goes down on the Morgana, and it looks to be just a little bit of poke. The Igniter's gone down. They go for the early first blood, and that is a flash by Nyx. Getting away. A little bit of health. Dear me.
Meanwhile, top side, Merged gets a very good trade-off, gets the empowered W into a Q, and sort of half-health Spunners without Spunners being able to do much about it.
Yeah, but this aggression we've seen from Last and Gandhi, the two Swedes, in this bot lane. Hold on, not two Swedes, what have I said?
Yeah, two Swedes.
They are two Swedes. I did have to think about that. my god. Yeah. Don't know what I'm on about. Oh well. The
All right.
Swedish bot lane doing work though.
Seeing Dewey coming in here, invading the top side, just looking to see if he can get a bit of information. He's gonna see no wolves, no grunt taken, which means he
is
knows.
down here though. Navarian has to flash as well, and there's also a heal. They get the hook. Gandhi is going in. This man gives no shit, and in goes
Double.
they go. First blood.
Oh, that was beautiful by Gandhi. Hits a follow-up hook onto the flashless Morgana, and then a double flay. Means they pick up a very nice first blood. You know, recognizing probably where the biggest mismatch in terms of.
Yeah, I'd agree. The biggest
know.
mismatch in terms of player quality, I think you have to admit that. Because, like we were saying, this is a top 3 bot lane, and they're going for more hugs. This man is insane. They're going to pick up the second kill. On to last. Beautiful.
All right, Dandy, we went over this last week. Stop smurfing on Fresh, please. But yeah, as I was saying, Navarian and Ixana, they're very good players, no doubt about that. They're definitely better than me, I'd say. But at the end of the day, they're both only, you know, sort of that high silver, low gold compared to high gold bot lane.
Yeah. I do feel kind of sorry for Nav and Nyx in this bot lane. And they might be looking Gandhi. Have you got yourself caught? Lordio is here. The binding misses from Nyx. And I think that's a nice flash forward from the Cho'Gath. They're looking for a kill onto Gandhi, but he does walk away from this. Merch just actually come down.
Yeah.
And
how long are on the dragon? They have to look to force this dragon with that earlier TP for a Shen.
Yeah,
and a Renekton, they have to be able to get something out of this because Mersh is throwing away so much of that little lead he built up for himself there to not really get anything out of it.
They're just not going to get anything, I don't think.
That's fantastic for Spunners there, you know. He had the wave in a relatively nice position, but he has it frozen there, or was frozen, now it's pushing. But, you know, he's caught up on CS. He's about half a level up, I'd say now, so he's going to hit 6 first, still has his TP up.
Yeah, if this man can get through the lane all fine and dandy, then he's going to be causing more problems than this Renekton will because of the scaling, plus Shen's a tank. So he'll automatically be doing more in these team fights.
Looking at CS, you know, despite being 2 kills down, the bot lane, it's relatively even. About 4 CS, 4-5 CS in it. Mid lane, relatively even. Just the board, so... The sort of 1.3 gold lead we're seeing has mostly just come from this first blood and the follow-up kill afterwards.
But it's on last though, so
that's a 2-0 Vayne. That is not what you want to see.
Definitely not. Getting this Vayne scaling early is exactly what PMA wanted, and I think Looney, you've got good reason to be very impressed with your bot lane right now. They've started off very well.
Yeah. Yeah, like that early 2 kills, that means that sort of break point for me where Elafif's comp just sort of almost auto loses has sort of gone from that 35-minute mark to more towards the 30 mark. So the further ahead this Vayne gets, the less time Elafif's has to close out the game.
You're definitely right, and I think a lot of it right now is going to come on to Dewey, who is looking at this top lane. And we could see a bit nice flash there by Spunners. Does get him out, I think? Yeah, he will escape this. But here comes support. Actually, he might get a little bit caught here. Here comes the Veigar, here comes Leocon. Dewey has to flash away. Merged has got caught. The Shen ult comes down on the Leocon. If they're going for another engage, Spunners has walked up quite far here to get it off though. But everything seems to have gone fine.
Yeah.
Flash is being blown on either side.
Dewey trying for a top lane gang there. You know, he knows he has to try and get this top lane scaling to have any snowballing, to have any sort of chance really in this game. And it's kind of been, it's almost a symptom of his lanes. You know, he hasn't really been able to do too much bot lane. You know, they've been constantly pushed in. Mid lane, it's a Veigar versus Cho'Gath. That's just a relatively, you're going to struggle to find any sort of real pressure there. So,
yeah, because of the
hasn't
Veigar
been
cage.
nearly as active this game as he was the last week on the Elise. I almost wouldn't fault him for that. It's very difficult to be proactive when you have even lanes, and where he has been proactive is around the top side. He's invaded there really well, and he does understand that that's the one place where he probably has a bit of proactivity in.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right. He now does have the option to use the giant ass wall, so hopefully we will see that come out, and
Yeah.
it should help even more with these ganks, because that Shen does have an E, but he has no flash. So getting cooldown on that for Daddy J will be vital for knowing when to gank.
Yeah, definitely.
Is it just called? It's just called Weaver's Wall.
Yeah, we was well.
Not Big Ass Wall.
No, but I prefer that. I do think to have any sort of chance of winning this game, they kind of have to look towards this first Weaver's Wall has to result in something, whether it's a kill, a dragon, or something. It has to be effective because they need to start snowballing somewhere soon.
I think you're definitely right. We talked about this in Champs League. We talked about how good this comp could be early for the side of the Elo Thieves. But at the moment, they haven't done too much, and it's really going to harm them in the long run of this game.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think that's just the thing when you have these safe lanes, such as... Here goes Dewey, though. They're looking for more. The taunt has been blown. Some nice dodging by Spunners. Doesn't get him out, though. The lovely barrier there. Gandhi is going in. That's a lovely ult there. Lordio goes down with the Jarvan Cataclysm, and Nick has died again, and I think Navarian's gone. They're going to donate this one to last. That's a double kill for the Vayne.
Yeah, it's just super nice layering of the CC there. Last hitting, Gandhi hitting a good hook, and then followed by a very nice EQ knockup, a double knockup from the Jarvan, showing he isn't just a filthy Silas one trick. He can play other things.
Yeah. And at the moment, PMA looking dominant.
Yeah, PMA definitely looking better,
And they're even looking to invade onto this. Lordio is going in.
A lot of damage onto the
Shen. They're really looking for him. The flash. Ryan's flash and the Shen ult goes down. And it looks like the Vayne has been rooted up here, but all members of PMA are around, so you're not going to get anything. Spunner's going in with the taunt onto the... a lovely hook again by Gandhi. He might go down for this, though. Renekton is in the back lines. Daddy J picking up some more, and the last is
Vayne
still
free
coming
hitting.
in. Yeah, Vayne is doing so much. But will she get caught here? Oh! So close there. Daddy J is still going for this. The nice taunt by Spunners.
Followed by a flash over the wall. Press R on. There you go. Those are some mechanics. Presses 2 buttons, gets a nice kill.
And Laia Khan just getting himself a kill with that ultimate. Was it the primordial burst?
The burst, yeah.
Yes.
But oof, that's a 5-0 Vayne. That's scary. That's a completed Blade of the Ruin King at 12, just under 12 minutes. He is starting to scale now, and that is scary. Because you could already see there, while they didn't have that much tanking on the side of the Shen or the Jarvan or the Fresh, and he was free hitting for most of that fight. Even with a very nice flank CP from the Renekton, he still struggled to get on top of him.
He really did. And the thing is, I think the Thieves actually tried to draft a safe bot lane, but here's the Weaver's Wall. Does come down to try block off Gandhi, but it didn't do anything, Ice.
Nah.
And yeah, as I was saying though, I reckon the Thieves have tried to draft a very safe bot lane here, because, of how good a bot lane Gandhi and last are. They're going to try and live this bot lane out, but they haven't been able to do this. They've kind of just inted at the moment.
Into that, I think that's a bit harsh, but it's been really good play on the side.
It has, you are definitely right. And, well, what can you say? Gandhi's hooks have been sublime so far.
Yeah. and it's also just been good pressure from Lordio, you know, understanding where his strengths lie. Sort of most of, if not all of his ganks have been towards the spot side. There was maybe one top side, but apart from that, it's all been, and when it has come, they've very meticulously donated the kills over to the Vayne. So
Yeah, they have. And that really is a scary Vayne. Already got a completed Blade of the Ruin King. But you've got, like I was saying, you really have to give credit to Gandhi. 100% kill participation so far, and he's been all over the map.
yeah, you know, it's been really good. Continuing to show off what he can do on this champion, and
Yeah.
you got to start wondering, you know, do people start having a ban out this fresh? There's already a lot of stuff on the side of the of PMA that you got to think about. You know, there's the Trist. We know that can be flexed into at least 2 lanes. There's the Ari, which is Lycon's by far favorite champion and by far his best champion. I don't think many people have, if anyone, has actually left it up so far. And then you got to start. You got to look at last. You know, he's got the Vayne. They've also got.
Goes again. They're looking for more, and Nick Sana has to blow the hourglass, and they're just
the stopwatch, but yeah.
Yeah, just the stopwatch.
But we are seeing, you know, the Elo Thieves grouping up 3 here, understanding where they do have some priorities topside, and they're looking at.
They definitely do, and Daddy J actually blowing the ult. Here comes Shen. Shen is coming into this fight, and I think they might try back off here. The taunt is there. Lordio goes down with the Cataclysm. Dear me, but they're not going to get much more. I think the Rift Herald goes over the side of the Thieves. And they have gotten what they came for.
Yeah, you know, some good disengage from the side of the Elo Thieves. They're just taking the Rift Herald, making sure they couldn't get engaged upon and walking up with it. Very good macro ability there to sort of be able to gather something from an overall sort of losing map position.
Yeah, look at that damage though already from that Vayne. It really is horrible.
Yeah.
Although there is one thing we really have to notice right now, and that is the CS lead that Daddy J has picked up in that top lane.
Yeah, okay.
I've just seen that, and we might even, if no, Lycon's just gonna walk out, but if that Cho'Gath can get on you, that could be one dead Veigar.
I think at this point, Cho'Gath's whole kit, he's just got to look at that Vayne, and he's got to go flash R, and then hope that there's enough damage there, because if this Vayne gets the free hit in any sort of sustained fight, that's not going to be pretty from this for Elo Thieves.
You see, the thing is, Merged has got, or Daddy J, should I say, has got a very big advantage. He is about, is that 50 CS up almost?
Yeah.
And I would like to see him start to use that advantage he has in terms of the completed item in the Spear of Sojin. He's that early game champion in the Renekton. I would like to see him do a bit more.
Yeah, I think he's trying. You know, it is still a Shen.
It is still a Shen, and you're right. Playing into a tank.
It's a relatively safe tank. You know, it has the W to stop a lot of Renekton's damage, the E to get away. So it's not exactly something you've got to coordinate with Dewey here if you want to look for any sort of dive.
It's the primordial burst. Come down, but the flash misses.
Flash auto attack into
Dewey just gonna pick that one up, and Spunners has come in, and that is the TP come down. He does have the W come up, so the Spirit's Refuge. That's the name.
Yeah, that looked a bit strange. I didn't get to see exactly what happened there because it seemed like he wanted to flash R, but instead just went flash auto attack. So maybe I didn't get to see his mana. He might have been out of mana.
No, he's still good. This man is 1v2 him right now. I don't know. It could have been a mana problem, but he did have that R up. I wonder, was he in? He must have been in range.
Yeah, was he silenced? That's the only thing I can think of that maybe.
I don't know.
I'm
Might
curious,
just
so
have
I'm
been a
gonna
miss
have
by
a
eyes.
yeah. That's possible.
But the pressure
No,
on
no,
this
he had
bot
full
lane.
mana, so
Oh, Lordio could just go down here. He's got a bit caught, and he will just die, but they are coming in. The Weaver's Wall does go down. Nyx has been caught. The Shenel is coming down last. He's going for blood, and he sees it. Spunners has got the barrier down to save the autos, and a nice hook onto Dewey by Gandhi, and they're looking for more. Nerd takes down Spunners, and they are looking for more. Last is on a backside this fight, but he does have Leocon with him here. The Veigar is trying to do a bit, but it looks like they'll all back off. And we should be good.
yeah, that's a big overextension from the side of PMA there. You know, they didn't need to dive there. They had a good goal lead. They're scaling. They don't need. Yeah, being proactive is good, but if you don't have the vision set up for it and you're the scaling team, then you don't need to be doing it.
Yeah, you're definitely right. I think that was a bit overambitious by Lordio. Just getting caught with the binding. Probably underestimating the power of this bot lane a little bit. They might be down in deaths and levels, but they've still got a lot of damage with the empowered Q Karma has.
Yeah, and they've also got a lot of survivability there. Is the
Yeah.
AoE shield, the heal, or the healing if the Karma wants to go for that route instead.
And the gold lead actually getting a little bit closer after that.
Yeah, still sitting at about 1.5-ish K, which is
Yeah,
about what it was at 10 minutes. So they haven't really been able to grow it much.
Here comes Dewey though, and Spunner's just getting out. This taunt has been so useful for him in this lane. They haven't really been able to get a hold of this Shen like you'd have expected them to.
No.
Because of his survivability and escape.
And he is extremely patient with this taunt. He's not using it early. He's waiting for the CC to come down so he's able to dodge it. Not trying to predict it coming down.
Which is really good by the side of Spunners. He might be down farm and everything, but in all honesty, he's done a good job getting through this lane.
Yeah, he hasn't... You know,
He's
he
had to
hasn't
give up a lot,
solo
but,
died
yeah.
or anything like that. Yeah, he's given up a lot of CS, but I think he understands what his role is in this team comp. He just needs to be the tank.
And the hook into the cage. And a lovely... Oh, the root does come down though. And it looks like Leocon will be alright. They might be looking for something here though. Gandhi has hit the big cage. And Daddy J is going to go down here. Lordio picking him up. He still has the Cataclysm.
That's a
In
free
they
man
go.
Cataclysm.
Yeah, that was huge. Nav goes down. Spunners is just died. And Gandhi in the middle of this is going to go down the Cho'Gath. They're looking for more. But Nyx, Dewey, and Charmander Nerd are all backing off here.
Yeah, you know, back into that last feeling a bit sorry for his opposite bot lane and decides to, you know what, I won't kill this Morgana. Instead, I'm going to eat her away to safety. So
Yeah.
still a one for one? Yeah.
No, 2 for 2, wasn't it?
2 for 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 for 2
And
overall.
That's actually worth it on the side of the Thieves.
Yeah, but the
And they
PMA
will
does
put
manage to
power.
pick up a dragon here. So they are sitting on 3 dragons, 2 oceans, 1 mountain. And that
Yeah.
mountain is scary because that's a fed vein with a mountain and a relatively well-stacked Veigar. I mean, it means you're going to take Baron very, very quickly.
Yeah, and Dewey and the rest of the Thieves have to be very careful of this.
Yeah. But, you know, they do actually still have ways to win this game, you know. Charmander has been sort of
Yeah, he's huge
unnoticed
in
by
this
us. He
game.
is 402, has both of his glacial items picked up, and is gonna start to do massive damage while just inherently being relatively tanky through that ultimate.
Yeah, he will. Although you do have to be careful. This is a 6-0 vein and it's scaling. And her W does the max health damage against these bigger tanks.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Daddy J will be going down quite quickly in these fights. And if caught, I think, so will Charmander.
Yep. So just speaking of items, we've got 2 completed on Lordio, 2 on the Veigar, 2 on the Vayne on the side of PMA. On the side of Eagle of Thieves, we have 1 completed on the
next turn, yeah.
turn, 1 on
And
the
Karma.
yeah, 2 on the. So their biggest threat at the moment definitely is this Cho'Gath with two complete items and some
Yeah.
boots.
He's a very big threat, and as Last might be discovering, Ned has the flash and he's going in for this. He wants this bet. Last has killed him.
Just not quite enough there. Thinking that would be enough. Unfortunately, Last baits him out with the heal, and then once he's used that flash and he doesn't kill the Vayne, you're a sit and duck for that Vayne, who's just going to E you away and then
you really
laugh
are.
at you while he auto attacks.
The E was actually very nice from Last to just pop him away, give her that kiting maneuverability. And yeah, he's looking so much stronger and stronger as this game goes on.
Yeah. Elo PMA's just starting to set up a bit of vision around Baron or around the mid lane. You know, they know they need to start taking some towers. I'd imagine they'd want to look for this mid lane tower first before they start thinking about Baron.
I reckon you definitely will be. And I think the pressure they should be able to secure this mid lane tower pretty easily.
The one of the few things that Elo Fuchs does has going for them is, yeah, it's a fed ADC, but it's a fed Vayne who doesn't really have any range.
Yeah, that is the big thing on the side of.
So you don't have any real siege ability. Yeah, okay, the Veigar is very nice in the siege. Oh, never mind. Topside Boy is going to see a Baron.
It looks like they will try to start this off. Spunners does have TP, and so does Daddy J in this bot side, so they can join any time they want.
I think they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. Gandhi walks up and goes, "No, no, no, you can't do this," and they sort of just scatter.
Yeah, the thieves getting no cookies, and we'll just back off from the Baron. But I think it is good to see that they are keeping a very, very close eye on this Baron.
Yeah, definitely. Both teams need to be looking at this. You know, Elo Thieves they showed with just now with an attempt to try and sneak out the earlier repair, but they're not afraid to go for these sort of sneaky plays. You know that.
Yeah,
you don't
they really
lose too much for if you just understand when to back off. But if you are able to sneak it, that's a free Baron, which is fantastic. And then on the side of PMA, you can't leave that Baron alone with the Vayne for very long at all.
No, you're definitely right there. Some nice trading going on in the box side.
Yeah, just yeah,
usually
Renekton versus a tank. You're just gonna get pushed in, and then you're gonna look to try and maybe harass the Renekton a little bit underneath the tower.
That taunt is very dangerous, and Merch has actually taken a lot of damage, and oh no, that is the ult. He's going in for this. They flash away by the Shen, and Spanners will survive this. Nice flash by Lordio, and they are looking for more. The Cataclysm goes down on the Dewey. He also has the stopwatch here, Lordio, and he might... Oh, Gandhi saves him, but he does go down to Karma. Last is going in, though. This man gives no crap, and he's picked up a double kill here for the side of PMA. Cho'Gath looking for more, though. Another great hook by Gandhi. The Shen is coming down onto Last. Leocon picks that up, and that is the Drake.
Yeah, that'll be a Drake, you know. They might even be tempted to go for this Baron, because it is 3 dead on the side of Elo Fuchs. Yeah, they don't have their jungler, but still.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. Dewey's dead for another 17 seconds. He does have the big wall available, but... and I think that's what they might be a bit wary of here.
That's a lot of damage from that empowered Q, though, onto Leocon.
It really is.
Who now really has to back off, but I think... Yeah, gonna pop the spooky ghost, give the Vayne some free time with that mid turret, and they're gonna be able to take it. So
yeah, they
good
will.
fight there from PMA. Gets 3 for 2 overall, I think it was, and a dragon and so slowly starting to build some advantages.
that Karma might be 2 and 5, but like you said, she can still do a lot of magic damage with that Luden's Echo and completed Soft Shoes.
Yeah. Karma
Gives her a
looking
lot
to
of-
pick up picks up the Athenes for that a bit more sustained healing in the fights.
Yeah, it'll benefit him. He needs the survivability at this point. He's 2 and 5.
Yeah, no, the healing would be for anyone he shields. So I'd imagine he'd maybe want to look towards trying to protect this Renekton when he dives in.
Yeah, you're either
Normally
going to
when
be
you-
protected.
When you see the Athenes build, it is with an ADC somewhere, but they don't really have much AD sustained damage.
No, you're definitely right there. They do have a few APCs at ability power carries in the form of Charmander and Dewey, but their only real AD threat is Big Daddy J in that top lane. And Gandhi could have got caught here, having to flash away. They're going in, Last doesn't care. This is a very fed Vayne, and he's going for more. The TP on the backside, Nerd is here, and he might be able to get on Vayne. Nice kite in there, you ain't doing anything, my friend. Charmander goes down, and that's the Baron.
That's the 3-for-1 dead jungler with Lordio being alive. Who again actually hit a very nice multi-man stun into a multi-man ultimate.
Yeah, lovely little Cataclysm, and Nav could be going down, but Lordio actually might go down the Baron. Nicely played there by Navarian to pick that kill up, and Veigar having to flash away. Last does secure the Baron,
Yeah.
but Nav going for more.
What can you say? Corrupt Rito Games favoring Elo Thieves as the Baron slays Lordio.
Lordio killed by the Baron. Dear me. Might be his saddest death so far.
Yeah. Definitely.
Although, actually, that one down bot lane was pretty sad. And that's a pause. On the side of Daddy
Yeah,
J's
mate.
just getting out of here, actually.
Yeah, Daddy. Merch has had some net problems today, so I'd imagine he's just taking this chance to, try and reboot some stuff, trying to make sure it's stable for the rest of this game. As the original pulls did come in from the side of the PMA, actually, their mid laner seems to be lacking.
Yeah, but you can lag all you want, but he's still a 4-1 Veigar. Like,
Yeah.
Leocon, with his death cap, he's going to be doing a crap turn. And then I don't think you can really forget about this 11-0 Vayne.
No, you cannot. That's not fun.
No.
But if you look at a couple of those fights, Dewey has some really good tools to actually deal with him. If he can lay down the W, I think
It's the weird groundy crap in it.
Yeah, I can't recall the name of it.
Hold on. Is it Unraveled Earth? It's not.
Yeah, it might well be because I know the Q is worked.
The Q's the bit where she throws out rocks.
Yeah, and the E is called Seismic Shove, I think.
No, the W is Seismic Shove.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, apparently. I've just taken a look at that. It's the one where she boops an enemy up in the air.
Yeah.
Dear me, these Talia abilities.
Yeah. Play easier champions, please, people. We're only silver gold. How can you expect us to remember all these things? Just want a nice bit of Jarvan, very easy ability names.
Jarvan has a little flag thing, puts that down in the ground, has a big dunk thing, big, cataclysm, See, that's quite easy.
Yeah.
Vayne does a load of weird dashes, the tumble. Silver bolts don't even need to read out that. Condemn, and the final hour. I've always thought final hour is such a great name for an ultimate.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're powering up, man.
Yeah. Which is essentially what she does, She pulls out her big fuck off crossbow and then goes, you know what, let's go. It's party time. I'm going to dive in. I'm going to be invisible.
You're going to be very difficult to kill, and I'm going to do a shit ton of damage. Although I think the easiest ultimate to know in this game might be the Cataclysm, but I also think that the big bloody feast is quite good as well.
Yeah.
Just eating people. Charmander's actually done quite a played quite a decent part in this game. He's probably their main damage source at the moment, except for maybe Dewey. who's
Yeah.
very strong as well.
Yep. Dewey going full pen. Has picked up a Morellonomicon, which
Cut the
this
healing
game is
from
better. Last week I complained a little bit about it. There wasn't too much healing, but at least this game, you've got a Vayne who
Yeah, you've got a
has
very
built
fed Vayne.
very fed Vayne with the Blade of the Rune King is going to be healing a lot. On the side, you got the Conqueror on the Jarvans. There is some sustain there. It's not necessarily that bad as it compared to last week, but
Yeah, and I think he'll go for the Zonyas as well here. Looking at, he's picked up the Seeker's Arm Guard. But I'd expect Charmander to be using these glacial things for picks that you can get. I think that's the best effect you can get out of this glacial rune, is to use the picks. And Nyx has been caught. That almost was a very dead Morgana.
yeah,
Damn it.
Elifie's having to blow the big wall here.
Yeah, the
to
big
try and-
wall does come out, the Weaver's Wall, going down, but it hasn't done too much. It's just separated them, and they haven't even engaged. Daddy J also getting very low at this poke ice from
Yeah.
this Veigar.
And then meanwhile, topside, there's a huge wave and a Shen just getting a free split push, having already taken one tower and is now onto the inhib tower. Means that Mersh Daddy J has to back, but he's not going to get there in time, and that's going to be a free 2 towers.
Yeah, double cannon really helping Spunners there take that tower. He might be really far behind on farm, but he's
And
still a
double
great
cannons bot lane
Yeah,
here.
Gandhi could get caught though. The Cho'Gath knockup does go down, and Dewey does pick up the Fat Man. But Spunners gives no crap. He's going in on this Renekton, who can't pierce through the shed. And
I
it's-
can't, and there's just 3 massive Baron buff cannons
God.
on the backside going
Dude,
bang, bang, bang. We're going to take all your objectives now. And
Dewey
can't do
is looking
crap
for this
about
kill
it.
here, and it looks like they're all going to rotate over. Spunner's having to flash away from this one. He still has the taunt up, and I think he just gets away. Nick's blowing the shield. Not Navarian blowing the shield, and they're looking for him, but he's just gone.
Yep.
He's just
Doing a
out
very
there.
nice part, just out there with his being a little distracting. Hey, look at me. Hey, look at me. I might take a free dragon.
Yeah. Beautifully played by Spunners, picking up a tower, and living for it.
Yeah.
And PMA just looking dominant right now. The gold lead is starting to get a bit hefty.
Yeah, very good use of the Baron so far. Already picking up 3 towers and inhib and a free drag. They really use that Baron to the best of their ability.
Yeah, and you see, Daddy J does luckily have a TP, but the power of the Shen on the bot side with Stand United is his split push presence now.
Yeah.
Because the Baron, I think, will be the next big objective, if I'm right.
Yeah, you got about 2 minutes on it. It does favor the Elo Thieves that their inhib lost is on the top side, so you don't have that far to walk down towards the Baron compared to if it was on the bot side.
Where's the timer on the Baron, by the way? And last almost getting caught. The flash by Charmander. A beautiful route there. And Lordio going in, Cataclysming down. And a nice redemption to keep him topped up on health. Another stun there with the baby cage. Gandhi picking up another hook. Last picking up another one. And I reckon they could just end off this
Yeah,
push.
they're gonna definitely be able to end off the top side here.
Yeah, this is.
But
this
that's
is
gonna
game.
be GG, and yeah, that's a very strong performance from PMA.
Yeah.
They kind of got their bot lane rolling early, and they didn't really look back from there.
Yeah, Gandhi, don't go down. Good lad. Yeah, very well done by the side of PMA. Made us proud, made Looney proud, made everyone proud. And I'll tell you what, they are looking bloody dominant.
Yeah, that was very, very convincing, definitely.
And to think that the Thieves over here, I know they didn't have their normal bot lane of Sean and Cookie, but even so, against another top class team in the side of the Thieves, PMA looking beautiful.
Yeah, it does come with a little bit of an asterisk, as Elo Thieves were missing their main bot lane. And while Nixiana and Navarian they're perfectly good players, they're not, And they definitely, I think, if they were a bot lane together in the Silver Gold League, they definitely style on some people. But
Yeah,
at the end of the day, high silver, low gold versus a full high gold
last
bot
sort of
lane.
plat level.
Yeah,
I think he might have gone. Um, he might
he's
have had
definitely
a
been in his
perfect game.
promos for it.
Yeah. Did he finish with 0 deaths?
Yeah, perfect game.
Perfect
on-
game. Beautifully played by PMA's AD carry. I think that's the only way to describe it.
Definitely. But we haven't really discussed. We've praised everyone on the side of the PMA, but we haven't really discussed, who's going to get that MVP award. So I think last week we gave one each individually. So I think this time we might have to try and be able to agree on one.
Yeah. Where would your pick go then?
So yeah, okay, that's a 13-0 Vayne. That looks very flashy. But if you looked at the first 15 minutes, which is where I tend to sort of look at who wins it in those first 15 minutes, Gandhi hit some absolutely crucial hooks to actually get that Vayne rolling, and overall had some really nice double flays, some good cages, and so I think I'm gonna have to give it to Gandhi, to be honest.
You know what? That's a very good shout, and I'll go with you on that. Gandhi, I definitely think played well. I'm going to give a lot of credit to Spunners for getting through the lane and just doing a damn good job. Did his job, and and they ended through the top side as well. But definitely, Gandhi was insanely good on this thresh. Like we said earlier, might want to ban it.
Yep. But I do think that's going to have to be all from us here tonight. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Yep, I think that is.
Yeah. Come back next Monday for Silver Gold.
Yeah.
Where it is, you do only get to see two teams play, but you do get to see a full best of three. So it is a slightly different format. Has its pros and cons.
The Silver Gold League is generally described as a bloody good watch. So, yeah, enjoy. And thanks, Ice. Thanks for casting.
No problem, and thank you again for having me.
Yeah, that's all right. And thanks for watching. And good night.